All right.
Oh, he looks like he's hitting the blue steel. Why is he hitting the blue steel? What the fuck? What?
Okay. All right.
I love
hello,
your country.
everybody.
Your country is so
We're going to be
fun.
going live very soon. Well, I mean,
Are we like a
starting
soap
the show.
opera to you?
Yeah, it is so funny.
Watching
what
the
did I put
U.S.
this?
is like watching wrestling to Christian.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm talking about this. I'll put. Let me see. I put it in our chat. He's just like he's hitting.
Yeah, well,
the
trust
blue
me, I've
steel,
seen
bro.
it. Yeah, we
Oh,
don't have to
that,
share
yeah,
it. Yeah,
okay,
thanks.
okay.
I haven't seen it, but I don't care.
I actually haven't seen it.
I actually just don't care.
You don't
I actually
care?
just
Oh,
no,
wow.
not at all. It actually, I bet this doesn't. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yep.
No.
Okay, let's not talk about it.
Yep. Same. Yeah. All right. I think
Video
we're gonna be
fucking
good
games, I love
soon.
video
Thanks for bringing up politics as soon as we went online, though, Christian.
I'm
Appreciate it.
sorry. We're online. I didn't know that we're online.
Suck.
Oh, that's cool. My entire Twitter UI just went away.
Hell yeah.
Talk for real.
Oh, what?
All right, Jeff. Let's do each other here.
Okay. They are going to come for
That would be
Zelda.
the best.
Wait, where's? Oh, man, I was freaking out. It's Addy turned on the gauntlet machine. Hang on, let me turn that off.
Gauntlet machine.
Piss all over me.
Oh, the arcade one up. Yeah.
Oh, that by Gauntlet, I think he meant Rampage. But okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
What's this one? I don't know
Okay,
this
by
one.
Gauntlet, you meant Rampage.
No, gauntlet.
I thought you had a Rampage machine.
It is, but it has gauntlet on there too,
Oh, okay. There you go then.
Well, that's the important
That's
game.
cool.
and it was playing gauntlet, so that's why I said it. Yeah, it was that. I'm like, oh, I know that gauntlet music.
I'm
gonna-
so scared. I got Nitro for Discord, and having the ability to use every fucking sound of every.
Yeah, it's pretty good,
Discord
huh?
channel
Now I'm
is
just joining
crazy.
Discords for their sound effects. Yeah,
But listen, I'm scared of clicking them.
of course. Yeah, you don't know what they're gonna say. Almost certainly one of them is gonna be racist.
Yes.
All right.
Oh no. Okay,
Thanks,
let's check
Benji.
the Ron Funches one.
All right. There's this. Okay, let me just get the right thing going, and I think we should be
I'm gonna
good.
go eat some chicken.
Yep. There
I
you
don't
go.
know what it is.
See, that's a problem.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay.
Fat ass white girl.
Oh.
Here's a classic.
She has big tits.
Okay.
Okay. No. We're
See?
gunning it off.
This
Gunning
is
it off.
it. You're gonna get us demonetized and
So
also
you're
in
just
trouble.
really coming in hot today, buddy.
Yeah. Coca Leaf is really growing there right now. He's just he's feeling it.
Oh, brother.
Okay, let me test this.
I'm just gonna limit to our soundboard, which is
Yes, I think that's a great idea.
which is safe
guys hear that?
and for the entire
No.
No.
family.
Routing.
How about the classics, huh?
Yeah, come on.
gaming.
Yeah.
You guys hear that
That's all
sound?
we need.
There you
We used
go.
to
heard
only
that
have
sound.
that, and Batman is
What is this,
dead.
Jeff?
That was all we needed.
There we go.
You guys hear
Before
that?
Yeah, here. Sorry,
Yeah.
yes, we hear that. Before I reinstalled Windows, we had I had like 100 sounds.
Okie
Mostly
doke.
of you.
I think we're ready. I think we're ready.
Yes.
I
I'm
think
ready.
we're ready.
Okay. Let me see. I got this. I've got that there. Got that there. I got see chat. Hello, friends. All right.
Jeff,
if I count
what if I
a,
do-
what's that?
What if I do this every time I want an ad?
That would be
Break?
very bad.
Yeah,
That'd
that's
be
very
terrible.
annoying.
Very annoying.
It's like
Okay.
super aggressive. That sound is like aggravating.
We'll do ad breaks. It's fine. We got
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
We can use
just tell me how many ad
sounds,
breaks
don't worry about
do we need? Like we need what, like 3?
3.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll get it.
we'll get there.
Well, do like one artificial one and then between segments. That'll be fine.
I feel like we'll be fine. Don't worry.
All right, I'm gonna count us in. We're starting in 5, 4, 3. you're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Game Mess Decides podcast, the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, BioWare's laying off a bunch of people. Opening night live happened. Baldur's Gate is healing the Xbox Series S or something. I don't know. Mike, first, how are you doing?
It's been a weird day, hasn't it? So yeah, kind of a bit of a jumble, but getting through there, Jeff, getting through it. It's fun to be here. Always enjoy getting messy with you.
Yeah, I'm glad you could come in and be my guest host for today.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me back.
Sure,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get into all that and stuff. But yeah, it's been a busy week. Feels like tomorrow should be the weekend already, but it's Friday. But I guess that's nice. We'll get through tomorrow, go to the weekend. I want to record quick looks for a couple of games over on Giant Bomb. We're gonna have time to do that maybe after UPF, since we'll do an earlier UPF.
Yeah, I would like to do that Game Boy Color looking game.
Yes, I talked to Dan about it. He wants to do it as well, so maybe we'll get all three of us on there.
And then people have been asking for
Bomb Rush
something.
Cyberfunk, which I am working on. Yes, I'm trying to get that.
Is it Cyberfunk or Cyberpunk?
Cyberfunk.
Oh, okay.
Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. I believe that's the name of the gang that you play in the game. So I think that's what it would be. But yeah, first you get more from joining us from Mike and me. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna start over, Mike.
Yeah.
First, I want to thank you for joining us. You can get more from Mike and me by joining the Discord at GameMess.net. Give us a good rating wherever you are listening and hit that like button on YouTube. It helps people find the show. If you want to ask a question, you can drop a super chat during the show. We'll get to all of those here on YouTube by the end. Thank you to Carlos Sain, who is Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. Thank you to One Up vs. CPU for our artwork. You can find more of him at oneupvscpu.com. We are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever pods are caught. Thank you to our mods, and support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you access to the private channels in our Discord, the monthly Q&A, 1 month early access to the new episodes of Game Mess Jeopardy and Columbros, and participation in our monthly game club discussion, and of course all of our shows ad-free. We are recording a new episode of Game Mess Jeopardy tomorrow night, Mike.
Do we say who we have?
Yeah, sure. We got Emma Fife coming in.
Hey,
Emma Fife, who is a certified trivia expert. She put together the trivia game for Are You Smarter Than the Games Journalist that I did at DreamHack with Dan, and that was a lot of fun. So looking forward to having her on. It'll be a good time.
She also has the coolest X job of anybody I know, because she did the tram tour at Universal Studios Hollywood, which is just the most fascinating thing to me ever.
Yep.
I bugged her about that so much, and she was very polite and patient and had a ton of fun stories.
Yeah,
so
she mentioned that there's several celebrities that would come in, and she would give them tours, and eventually a couple of them would request her when they would bring their friends back. And I'm like, oh, that's really neat. That's a cool job. All right, Mike, I got a bunch of big topics I want to get to. You ready?
Yeah, a lot to talk about today. Let's go.
Yeah, BioWare's laying off 50 people. I saw this story first from Dean on GamesBeat, and then I looked into it a little bit more. I guess let's just start from the top. 50 people of the 250 people that work at BioWare, no longer there. These are not necessarily just, low-level people, whatever that might mean. It's people who've been there a long time. It seems like a lot of people who might be pretty high in the chain and maybe have pretty high salaries. This feels like an aggressive cost-cutting measure for a studio that is being asked to cut costs for the first time in quite some time. But they haven't put out a game in a while. And EA is getting pretty strict about this sort of thing, and it's hitting BioWare pretty much on the cusp of them releasing Dragon Age Dreadwolf, a game that is now expected internally to come out next year. The summer of next year at the earliest is what I'm hearing, Mike. What's your feeling on BioWare and these layoffs?
And there's a lot. The first thing that strikes me is just how interesting it is that this is happening in the shadow of the incredible success of Baldur's Gate 3, a series that was started in the early days of BioWare, right?
Yeah.
And BioWare's been having a hard time since. It's hard to say where it started. To me, it almost started in a weird way of Mass Effect 2, maybe learning the wrong lesson there. This giant, their first really, really big hit, I think because everyone connected with the characters and the story so much, and their takeaway was everybody liked how we simplified things. and made it more broadly appealing, right? And
Yeah.
they just kind of kept going down that track. They had to rebound a little bit. Dragon Age 2 went too far for everybody. But then just some weird misfires and decisions. Anthem is just, there's so much went wrong with Anthem all over. But man, it's hard to feel good about a company losing a fifth of its staff as it's, really working to finish a giant game with huge expectations like Dragon Age. And then also they're going to have to make a new Mass Effect. And they already messed that one up once. They can't mess that one up again. What the hell is that going to look like? And, again, I don't want to be like everything's about Baldur's Gate 3 now. But boy, you are now releasing your RPG in a post Baldur's Gate 3 world. Expectations are kind of pretty high on that stuff now. I don't know, Jeff. It's not good.
Yeah, it's rough. And, I talked about this a lot on Game Mess Morning. So if you want the detailed reporting, feel free to listen to that. Just to summarize kind of what's happening here. EA is changing. Apex Legends is on the decline. I confirm that. They said publicly, they said they were too aggressive and too optimistic with their expectations for that game last quarter. That's what they told investors. And now they're looking at it.
Maybe you think they regret canceling that Titanfall kind of campaign?
Maybe. I bet they're like, no, that was the right choice because that would have been a lot of money, and then who knows if that would have got people back on board. In my opinion, taking risks on things people really want and having the best studio do the thing they're the best at is the right answer. I think for in EA's mind, that would be like good money after bad is how I think they would view that. The other factor here is that EA has had this corporate restructuring. It's no longer EA. Everything's EA. It is EA Entertainment and EA Sports. EA Sports used to cover everything, where it's like, hey, that money from Ultimate Team is paying for BioWare to be BioWare. They could keep being BioWare. And now those are two separate buckets of money. And EA Entertainment and Andrew Wilson, when they announced this split, the words he used were like financial accountability for our leaders. This was the writing was on the wall for this. BioWare doesn't look as sustainable probably to EA when they are no longer looking at that Ultimate money as like, oh, well, this pays the bills, we're fine. So EA made this choice. BioWare made the tough cuts, and now they have to go put out Dragon Age Dreadwolf, a game that was supposed to come out this year. That's what they were aiming. They were aiming to put it out next month, actually, was the first original goal. I know it's like impossible to imagine that now. But now they're thinking next summer at the earliest. It was actually for a little bit, they're going to be like March 2024. At the earliest. That's not happening anymore. No way. So it's summer at the earliest, and they're taking people off of Mass Effect to work on Dragon Age Dreadwolf. So that means also Mass Effect's going to be even further down the line. So it's the games are bigger than ever. They take more time than ever, and so the idea that it's okay, well, you're taking more time, but you're also going to have fewer people working on these things. That doesn't feel like the right solution here. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned a couple times, but Baldur's Gate 3 shows that RPGs can be, if not the biggest, among the biggest games in the world. How do you not lean into that? How do you not see that and lean into it? But obviously these layoffs were in motion before they ever saw what Baldur's Gate 3 was doing.
Well, this is all reverberating from the ridiculous notion from way back when that all VA's games had to be online multiplayer focused. And that's how we got an Anthem. I mean, Andromeda has even more problems than that. But me and you know this. There are people who just love Mass Effect and Dragon Age.
Yes.
They still carry giant torches for those franchises. How do you mess that up?
Yeah.
Because they still care so much about those, right? Like, man, people still freak out about N7 Day and stuff like that. So it seems like they should have just been able to make those games. Well, I'll take breaks here and there, maybe. But now I just wonder, what happens if Dragon Age Dreadwolf comes out and it doesn't work? It doesn't work quite well.
Now, I don't want people to take away from this that's what we're saying, that's what's going to happen. Now, that is a concern, and we're talking about that hypothetical. Still, what I've heard about Dragon Age Dreadwolf is that they are pretty happy with where that game is at internally. Now, it's taking longer. It's taking more time. It keeps getting pushed back. But that's every game. That's pretty much every game these days. It goes through those growing pains. So that's not some alarm bell ringing or anything like that. But internally being happy with the game and it being able to live up to, or live in a world where all of these other massive games are coming out, not just Baldur's Gate 3, but Starfield's going to be coming. Tears of the Kingdom happened. It's like, if Dragon Age Dreadwolf comes out and it's just another Dragon Age, and it feels kind of like it hasn't grown much, if it's as good as Inquisition, I don't know if that plays as well. But internally, they're pretty happy with it. So, I mean, take that for whatever it means to anybody for fans. I don't want people to be like, oh, let's go, light torches and freak out about this because the game is going to be terrible now. That's not what I'm hearing.
That is kind of like my concern, though, is that an Inquisition 2 would not be good enough anymore.
Yes,
I don't know.
I mean, that's my feeling, but I don't know. Again, we've noticed this. A lot of fans, maybe they would be happy with that. I think as long as they get the characters that they really love, for the most part, many of those fans will be happy. But we'll see.
And that's nuts about Apex Legends. That's like a whole nother side of this story, because there's been some intense stagnation in the shooter market, hasn't there been? Right, where Halo wasn't really able to make that much gains. Overwatch has been falling. Apex, like it's like everything has settled down to, man, yeah, I guess Fortnite's still doing well. Obviously, some other games are doing fine. I'm assuming that what's the shooter from the League of Legends people? I can't remember the name. Valorant is doing fine. I assume Call of Duty always does well, but it does feel like some of the stuff's falling off, and maybe it's ridiculous to just assume that we can have 5 perennial online shooters that always do really well. But I mean,
it is. I mean, by the numbers, the shooter genre is probably the biggest one. Like the biggest genre of video game in terms of dollars and people who play. It's probably the shooter genre. Maybe there's probably an argument to be made for some others, but it's very, very big. And that meant, at a certain times throughout our history with shooters, we would have 20, 25 different shooters releasing over the course of a couple of years. And we'd have stuff like Time Splitters and Rise of the Triad and all these other like tertiary shooters. And I suppose, Black. I suppose we kind of get those these days. I mean, is Mortals of Avium count?
Counts as something. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it does seem like these days that money is all sort of coalescing in Fortnite, and then a few other things hovering around Fortnite. Like PUBG's got a lot of players in Asia.
Counter-Strike obviously still does well.
Yeah, and yes, right. Counter-Strike, right. And those are perennial hits at this point. They don't leave a lot of space for not only like new games, but like sequels to established traditional games like Battlefield.
Battlefield's been struggling forever, and that's
Halo and Battlefield,
a huge
right?
hit for them. Yeah, I mean, it's weird that we're in a world where Battlefield's one thing. It's where we're in a world where Halo just can't quite seem to carve out a piece of the pie for itself anymore.
Right. So I mean, I am hesitant to go be like, well, and this is the problem with live service games, because obviously live service games have made a lot of money for the shooter genre, and Apex Legends did pay a lot of the bills for a lot of these other games at EA and enabled a lot of things, and it was a massive hit. So it's like it did work for many years, and that's okay, right? Like you made a product, you put it out there, it succeeded and made all this money for several years, and now it's not doing that anymore, and you got to make something new. That's just the way it used to work, just on a shorter timeline. So it's like, oh, they expanded that timeline. That's nothing but a good thing. It's just that, okay, well, how do you make something to replace Apex Legends? Because back in the day, it would have been like, make a sequel, the old one goes away, here's the new one. And now there's no like obvious pathway to like make an Apex Legends 2.
Did that. It works so well, right?
I mean, I don't think there could be a better illustration of this problem, right? Like Overwatch 2 is like, how do we figure this out? And they had no idea. And it's like, we want this. And it's like, to them, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. We got to kind of like straddle all these different lines. So yeah, but I mean, internally, Apex Legends on the decline. They're not expecting it to be the big thing for them going forward. Maybe they're able to bring it back. It's not going to like go away overnight. It'll keep making money for them, but it's not going to be the answer to their problems. They will be looking for the next thing, and we'll see whatever that's going to be, or whatever it'll look like. Maybe actually will be Battlefield this time. We'll see.
Okay. Bring Medal of Honor. Bring it back again. It's time. Remember that VR game that came out like a few years ago? I bet you don't.
I did not. Oh my God.
Wasn't it Respawn?
That was Respawn. Yeah, it was a Respawn game that I think it was a deal they made with Oculus before EA bought them. And I remember hearing the stories about that game, and it was just going to be a shooter. And then EA's like, okay, we'll let you keep doing this because obviously you have the contractual obligations. But can you make it a Medal of Honor game? It's like, yeah, I guess.
Sure. It can't be that hard at that point. Like,
Totally. All right, we got some other stories here, but real quick, right before we went live, Excitebike 64 is coming August 30th to Nintendo Switch Online. Boy, I just can't state how much I like that game. It is so good. Again, one of those technical extreme sports games from the N64 genre. It has done better than any console then or since. Yeah, it's a real fun game, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be playing that on my trip to PAX. It'll be a good time.
I'll be excited.
Yeah, the trailer's out. They did a good job on that, so people.
They did. That looks like they care. That's nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, trailer's 10 out of 10. I agree, Jay Arthur. Absolutely. Okay, Mike. Opening night live happened. So did the Future Games Fest. You and I talked.
Future Game
Show. Thank you. You and I talked in depth about opening night live on Game S Mornings when you were on with me earlier this week. So we're not going to go over that. I was just going to point out 3 games that I like, and then Mike, if you have any ones you want to highlight, feel free. For me, obviously, it's Expeditions, a Mud Runner game. I think that looks fantastic. It's a really cool sort of follow-up to that Mud Runner Spin Titers legacy. Much more about exploration, all kinds of weird gizmos and gadgets you can attach to your trucks, like metal detectors. It's like, man, what is that for? I have no idea, but I can imagine. Either way, I think it's going to be fun. Then Dome King Cabbage is one that was at the Future Games Show, and I'm super into this. It looks like a drug trip FMV game. And I would really recommend watching the trailer if anyone gets a chance, because if you're like wondering what I mean by that, because you kind of have to see it. And even then when you see it, you're like, what is the gameplay here? I kind of don't care. I just want to be looking at my Switch, which the game I guess is exclusive for now, and see all these crazy things happening on the screen. That's fine enough with me. And then Thank Goodness You're Here, which is that Cartoon Network, Big Time Greens. What's the one you said it looks like?
Adventure Time's the one it looks the most like to me.
Adventure Time.
Not Adventure Time. Regular Show's the one it looks most
regular
like.
show. Thank you. Regular show is definitely what it looks like. Yes, and it kind of looks like that mixed with like WarioWare micro games, sort of bouncing around the world, and suddenly you're in a new mini game kind of gameplay, and I'm very excited about that. Other than that, there was a few more in the Future Games Show that I was kind of into, but other than Expeditions, not much for me at opening night live.
Yeah, opening night live, not too much hit for me there. It wasn't a bad show or anything like that. I think Alan Wake 2 is continuing to look very good. I am excited for that. But I don't know. Maybe my favorite game from like the day was that Symphonia, that 2D platforming game with a big music sort of aesthetic or focus to it, even though it's not.
That's the Hollow Knight like.
It looks kind of like Hollow Knight. I'm not sure exactly how Metroidvania it is, although I assume it is one of those. But that actually looks really good to me. That one I'm excited for. And the Persona 3 remake looks very good. I'm very excited for that.
That actually did look really excellent. Looks like they put a lot of work into that. So.
Super slick.
Yes, super slick. If you do want to see us react to that, we did that on Giant Bomb today. We watched all the trailers from both shows. We watched up until the point where 3 of us got bored and then clicked the buzzer and then we skipped it. It's actually a lot of fun, so check that out.
Yeah, it was actually a very good idea.
Yeah, thanks. I had a lot of fun with that. We might do that again in the future. We'll see. It's
a good thing to do when you can't watch it live. That's a fun way of approaching it.
Exactly, yes. And that, when we're at stuff like Summer Games Fest, and it's like, well, we were there, so like, we watched a couple of the shows, but there's like 6 other shows we didn't watch. We're gonna do a roundup. I think that would be a good way to watch all of the trailers in one form or the other. All right, Baldur's Gate 3 is actually coming to Xbox this year now. Why? Because Phil Spencer went to Europe and had a meeting with Larian Studios during Gamescom, and then like the next day, Larian Studios was like, "Hey, after talking to Phil Spencer, we have permission to put this thing out on Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. The only difference will be that Xbox Series S will not have the local co-op mode. We got approval from Microsoft to do that." Phil Spencer talked around this topic a little bit in several conversations he had with outlets like Eurogamer and IGN, where he's just like, I don't see a world where games don't come out, or where games are exclusive to Xbox Series X and don't come to Xbox Series S, but we're also not like enforcing this parity to like a super strict degree. And I'm like, well, it sounds like you are with Baldur's Gate 3. And then of course the next day, here we are. You broke in, I think, Game S Mornings this morning, right, to confirm this?
Yeah.
And it's, okay. I think this is a completely acceptable solution. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely loosening perhaps the original vision of what the parody would be. but it makes some sense. I think it's a shame that they kind of didn't come to this sooner. It had to take Baldur's Gate 3 being this big hit and realizing it was a big hit that they were going to miss out on, and then working hard to kind of catch up.
Yep.
You kind of wish maybe there was some more foresight there, but I get it. I wasn't expecting Baldur's Gate 3 to be such a big deal. But man, the crack has kind of now opened up a bit here. I wonder what this means for the future of the Series S. I think going forward, there's going to be a lot of your game has to come out on Series S, but you can make compromises. And we might be seeing more and more compromises, I wonder.
Right. I mean, this is a feature, right? But the feature, the issue on the Xbox Series S is still a horsepower one, right? It's still like this thing requires more graphics processing because you're rendering 2 instances of the world at the same time. And to me, that's still kind of within the spirit of what, you paid less money for this console that's less powerful, so you can't do this thing that requires more power. If that is sort of what's happening here, I'm okay. But I mean, you're not wrong. There still is going to be a slippery slope. There is going to be like, people are like, this kind of is harder because the Xbox Series S. And I think Xbox would prefer it be like, well, if it's impossible, maybe we'll listen to you. If it's harder, we'll try to help you, but there needs to be parity. So at the same time, I don't know what other recourse Xbox really has here, because they're not going to get rid of the Xbox Series S. They're not going to put out a more powerful or an Xbox Series S with more RAM, which is what it needs. So if they're not going to do these things, and even if they were to go help, it would still be very difficult, and they're probably not going to be able to pull it off to a satisfactory degree themselves to get this feature working, then I think this is where they have to let up on the valve. This is the pressure that they have to release. And so, I don't know what else they could have done other than just keep saying no to Baldur's Gate 3, which seems insane and not really an option.
No, I mean, look, it sucks a little bit to not have, co-op on Series S, but that's, way better than just not having this game on your platform. And, like at a certain point, the Series S, it is the budget version of the machine.
Right. Yeah.
There's going to be compromises there. So it's going to be interesting. Man, I don't know if you're going to go to this Phil quote right away, too. I know he was also talking about how he doesn't see a need for a mid-gen refresh, and that's going to get interesting if Sony does. Yeah, just weird. Yeah,
so there was a lot of conversations again with Phil Spencer. He mentioned that. I don't know, of those headlines, which again, I went over Game S Mornings this morning, but that one stuck out to me a little bit where he's like, that we think that would muddy the waters with developers and with gamers and stuff. And he seems pretty dead set on not doing a mid-gen refresh. Sony seems like they're working their way up to doing exactly that. It is going to be weird, I think, if Sony does it and Xbox doesn't try to keep up. But I don't know. At the same time, I don't know what the appetite is for a PS5 Pro. But I guess once it's here, that could change in an instant. So who knows? But I don't know. Do you think they changed their tune? Do you think Xbox isn't working on an Xbox Pro or Xbox Series X Pro of some sort right now?
I mean, they have a hardware team, right? Like, why wouldn't they at least be experimenting with that, or even thinking about the next console already? I mean, that's the thing, especially with the way these things work now. And if it is this whole Xbox Series bling thing, it almost makes you think that the whole point of it is that there's supposed to be even more. There's supposed to be more consoles than ever, right?
Yeah, right. Like where there's Xbox Series X, XX, or XS or something, and then that's more powerful, and they just replace everything every couple of years. That's what I thought they were going to do.
Maybe what he means is that, no, we're not going to do a mid-gen refresh next year or in 2 years, because in 3 years, we're just going to have our next console already. I don't know. It could mean anything.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah. Like he's like, we're just thinking about it in an entirely different way. Either way, it does still sound like he's kind of wanting to stick with these consoles for a little bit longer than Sony's going to stick with the PS5 as their top option. So.
Right. Also, because it's going to get rough if Sony does have the more powerful thing out there, and performance on Xbox games whenever it's rough. People are going to have very easy.
PlayStation's already the lead console for a lot of developers, so it's already running better in a lot of cases.
Yep.
I'm trying to see. I had a whole bunch of headlines this morning. He said console prices won't go down. Something that we've
not shocked.
Yeah, right. We know this. I think everyone kind of gets it at this point, even if they haven't explicitly realized it. No one's sitting around waiting for price drops on these consoles. They know they just need to buy them at the price they are. I mean, honestly, if you did wait and you were in Europe and actually in a couple places here in the United States, it's gone down in price occasionally. I think some people mentioned in the last couple of weeks they got it for $450 here. So yeah, you got it on sale, but in terms of permanent price drops, these consoles are almost certainly not going to get that. And if they do, for some reason, like, oh, people aren't buying it at this price, they'll introduce, that's when they will introduce a model with more storage or whatever, or some other refresh and sell it for the higher price again. Call of Duty games won't appear on Game Pass immediately, Mike. That's not too surprising either, but he pointed to Bethesda games as an example, but Bethesda games started to come to Game Pass 3 days after that deal closed.
Yeah, I would imagine there's certain games that we're going to see on there pretty quickly that they're probably already even thinking about. Like, how long are you really going to have to wait for Diablo 4 on Game Pass? I'd be shocked if it was that long.
Yeah, and he said they're looking for solutions to get those 220 Xbox Live Arcade games that might get lost forever to keep them around. But he didn't not make any promises, but he did talk and say that they're looking into some solution there. But no solution is forthcoming.
I believe him, but I also can't imagine it's a super high priority.
Agreed. Okay, let's see here. Todd Howard wants Elder Scrolls 6 to be the ultimate fantasy world simulator. Todd Howard provided an update on the Elder Scrolls 6, announced at E3 2018 the game is still in early planning stages and will follow the release of Starfield, obviously. The Creation Engine 2 used for planning stages. The Creation Engine 2 used for Starfield.
I would have actually really, like, it's got to at least be in it shouldn't at least be in production now, not necessarily like we're still drawing pictures. What do you mean planning stages?
Mike,
you announced it like 6 years ago.
I never believe developers when they use stuff like that kind of terminology, when they use like alpha or pre-alpha or planning stages. I think they are, we're going to go talk to the audience, and the vernacular we use with them and the vernacular we use internally is probably very different. So when they say stuff like planning stages, I think I agree that it's that you're probably in production of some sort, or some people on the team are in production. But yeah, I mean, if they are still in the planning stages, Mike, I agree. It's weird. I think Todd Howard might agree. He went on to say that he thinks it might have been a mistake to announce the game so early. Again, announced in 2018. It's 2023 now, in case people didn't know. That's 5 years ago, and the game is still almost certainly a very long way away. And as I was going to say, they're going to use the same engine that they were using on Starfield. They've been using the same engine, just updated over and over. They said they will make more enhancements to it, which, of course, they always do as well before each game. When do you think we get this game, Mike?
Man, it's definitely 2025 at the earliest, and that seems too early. Probably 2026.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it easily getting to 2027 too. So
yeah, it's a while away. Gosh, it is weird that by the time this game comes out, it'll be probably like 15 years since Skyrim came out, and it's just weird because things change so fast from Oblivion and Skyrim coming out in the same console generation to that, wait 3 console generations for the next one, and of course they threw a Starfield in there. And they did a Fallout 76 and things like that. And that's fine, but man, yeah, it's a different world.
Yeah, he mentions like it's not ideal that there's such a big wait between Skyrim and Elder Scrolls 6, but he did mention that Starfield is one of the reasons why it makes sense that it's taking so long. And then of course the enduring popularity of Skyrim, which they've released many times and continues to sell. So they've kind of gotten away with it, and so they're like, yeah, it worked. So when we get around to it, it'll probably be fine. But still, it's very strange how long it's taken. I guess, or it just feels strange. Honestly, when you start looking at it, it's like, oh, it makes perfect sense.
Right, you understand why it happened, but it is just interesting that, yeah, again, it used to be every few years you would get a new Elder Scrolls, and now it's like, oh, the next one comes out before I die. Yeah,
exactly, and that's like that's where it's like, is gaming like this, are games like this sustainable long term? And if you got Microsoft at your back, maybe, but it's like other studios trying to do what Bethesda does now, it doesn't seem sustainable. So
right, I mean, that's where it's going to be interesting when we see Avowed, right? Which is like, we're going to try to make our own Skyrim with Moxie and elbow greasing,
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got the sense from that last trailer. They're like, well, we still got the Moxie, but maybe we don't quite got the Skyrim anymore. It's like,
yeah,
we'll see.
I think a lot of people got a little bit. We'll see. Yep. Well, maybe we'll be happy with that.
Me too. I know what you will be happy with, Mike. Denuvo is coming to Switch. Hooray! Denuvo, for people who don't know, I bet most of you do, it is that anti-piracy, emulation anti-hacking tool that shows up in a lot of games, that tries to keep it so you can't get a cracked copy on the internet for free. It is now going to be available in the Nintendo development portal for developers to use, and it's coming explicitly with anti-emulation guard. So it's going to try to make it more difficult for games that run on Switch to run on Switch emulators on the PC. Denuvo, the company that runs Denuvo, said, oh, yeah, hey, a lot of games are very easy to run on a Switch emulator. So even if you have a protection in other versions of the game, people will just go to the Switch version because that's been very easy to emulate. It's like, well, this will put a stop to that. And of course, it might for a little bit. All these games usually get cracked eventually after a number of weeks. Although there was a period there in the last couple of years where it was like months would go by and no one had cracked a couple of Denuvo and protected games. So like they're always getting better, but then the scene always catches up. Still, Denuvo has a pretty bad reputation for causing performance issues in games. There's always debate about whether or not that's actually true. I lean to the side of it almost certainly is true. And Switch doesn't have any performance to spare, right?
No, it certainly does not. Certainly does not. It's a weird thing. I think like a lot of people are maybe thinking this is more of a preparing for Switch 2 thing. I guess that would make some sense. And hopefully there's enough power in a Switch 2 to make up for that. But it doesn't sound ideal. It's hard to be happy about this.
Yep. It's just kind of frustrating and annoying. And then Dark Forces and Turok 3 remasters are coming from Night Dive Studios. Both look really good. I'm very happy about this. I'm going to play both, Mike.
Yeah, well, I actually played Dark Forces not too long ago because of the Force Engine, which is a fan tool on PC that makes these games run on modern PCs with a lot of cool enhancements. I think the Force Engine guy, it's not using the Force Engine on this. This is Night Dive's engine, but he helped with some stuff. So, and, there's other things like they redid the cutscenes. Not sure how I feel about the redone cutscenes, but
it doesn't.
Whatever.
It's like I don't hate it, but I know Yeah, I hope that we have the option to switch between the new and the old cutscenes, or the new and old game with a click of a button. I hope that's how it works.
But no, this is great. Dark Forces is fantastic. Turok 3 is interesting because it was really taxing Nintendo 64. It was made as kind of like, oh, we're influenced by Half-Life now. We have to make a more story-driven shooter. Good luck with that on Nintendo 64. And it's only ever been Nintendo 64. It never has been ported anywhere else. So having that on more platforms and having Dark Forces on every platform, that's great.
Yes.
Night Dive has done really good work with all the retro shooters. At this point, they've been getting to a lot of the big ones. I hope that it continues. I hope we get Jedi Knight. Maybe get some of the other weird ones. They haven't done Hexen or Heretic yet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, and Microsoft, was it the Hexen shirt or a Heretic shirt that Phil Spencer was wearing?
I think he was wearing Hexen, I believe.
So, and he's talked about Hexen a bunch of times. So maybe he gets Night Dive to work on that. Maybe not, but it would be very cool if he did. I forgot what I was going to say about these. Dark Forces. It's come a long way. Because I remember when I first got the Steam Deck, I was like, I'm going to put Dark Forces on there. And it's like, it's not working. Well, whatever. It's the Steam Deck. So I tried to get it working on the PC. And it's like, this is actually kind of a headache. And then since then, the Force Engine, is that what it is?
Yeah, Force Engine.
Since then, that has come out and made it easier, but it's like now it's going to have an official port everywhere, and it's just going to work on your Switch or your Xbox or your PlayStation, and that's just
the Switch
really
ports
nice.
have been really good at these games. They usually have gyro controls, so you can do that for adjusting aiming. That's how I played Quake 1 and Turok 1 was on, and Power Slave was on Switch, and it worked really well that way, actually. So, yeah, this is great.
It's good stuff. And then Activision Blizzard games are going to Ubisoft Plus. Microsoft, in an effort to win approval from the CMA in the UK for its deal to acquire Activision, has made a deal with Ubisoft to give them the worldwide cloud gaming rights for all Activision Blizzard games for 15 years, which means if you want to stream Call of Duty after this deal closes, you'll do it through Ubisoft Plus. This is weird, but also, hey, it does feel like it would solve their problems. So I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really impact us, right? So whatever. Right. If this, it
doesn't really impact anyone, right? Because these games will be available if you wanted to stream them from the cloud. Like, it'll just work. Yeah.
Do you think regulators are going to buy it?
I mean, I can't see how I guess they could still say, well, 15 years. Well, what happens after that? But it's like 15 years is more than enough time for this market to get settled out and for new players to come in and for Ubisoft to make deals with other companies using the Activision Blizzard games that Microsoft would own. So it would be very weird if they would say no to it at this point, but they've been very weird up to this point. So we'll see. No idea what they're going to do. But hey, we will probably find out soon. They did have to start a new investigation. The CMA said we got a new phase 1 investigation happening.
Phase 1, everybody, hear that? We're on phase 1 now.
That's so depressing. But I hope that they're kind of just saying that, like, because they're like, we got to do our due diligence. But it's like, come on, motherfucker, this is not that difficult. You're gonna do some math, sure. Go do your math and then come back and tell us what you think. And I bet your decision
not impressive math
won't be based on math, actually. So
yeah, probably not.
all right, that does it for the news I have here. But Mike, we have some super chats, which we'll get to. Do you have something to say? Sorry, I
was gonna say we should take a break, and it seems like that's what you're doing. So hey,
there's some super chats with a bunch of other stuff. We'll get to it right after this. Thanks, everybody.
Got it.
I'm ready to go.
Yep, me too.
Go.
All right, Mike. Super chat's been coming in, and I want to hear them. So read them to me.
Yes, Baba is B says it seems messed up that the Sony Pulse 3D headphones, Sony Pulse, that still sounds like a strip club to me, won't connect to the new portable device. I wonder what Jimbo Ryan has to say about this.
No, okay, so I is that true? I thought the Pulse 3D headphones
should, because they work through PlayStation Connect now.
Yeah, the PlayStation
whatever it's called, right?
Wait. Is the Pulse 3D the old headphones?
Oh, that's what they mean then. Yeah.
Yes. So the new ones, the Pulse Explore and the
Explore
that's the one.
Yeah, but I mean those will work too. Because those are going to have the new...
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Those will work. The new ones will work because they use the proprietary tech.
Right.
Yeah. It makes sense that the old ones don't work, though, because they use a USB dongle. So,
Those don't use Bluetooth?
Well, no. All wireless headsets use a USB dongle because low latency.
Yeah, but there's low latency versions of Bluetooth.
Not at that level.
Okay. Well, I mean,
this conversation is boring.
I mean, listen, there are low enough latency Bluetooth.
Someone paid money to talk about this, Mike. You
guess so.
There are low enough latency Bluetooth things, but yes, those are faster. The dedicated ones are definitely faster. I think it's weird
by like half the time. I try because I use a wireless headset. I did a lot of research on this. The
fastest one is like LT. No, that's like low power. The low power one is it is faster. But either way,
aptX LL. No one uses it anymore. That's like 100 milliseconds. Like wireless headsets are like 50.
Yeah. So it's this is the kind of thing where it's weird. But if you are in the Sony ecosystem, this does do some pretty cool stuff. Where it does the headsets themselves also have Bluetooth. So you can connect to like a Bluetooth your phone or whatever and the gaming device at the same time, and they're coming through it simultaneously. So you can get the Discord on that, I guess, and then
the earbuds are actually pretty cool because it's so hard to find low latency earbuds right now. So if that works as advertised, those will actually be like really neat.
Yes, it's frustrating because the delay on the standard Bluetooth protocol is fucking ADP or A2P, really whatever the fuck. It's really bad. Yeah. Okay. What else, Mike?
Diego RP says, as a wrestling friendly podcast in honor of Bray Wyatt's passing, any favorite matches? I definitely the Wyatt family versus the Shield was very, very, very good stuff. I love the Wyatt family, especially was a really fun time, a really good time. Jeff, how about you?
Yeah, like some of his matches against Daniel Bryan at the time, and I really, it's been a joke, but I really do like the Mountain Dew pitch black match. It's Bray Wyatt.
You're right. It was good, silly, fun. It knew what it was,
and I think he can make anything kind of work. He was a worker, and I don't know. I really liked Bray Wyatt. I really did. This is rest in peace. That's kind of devastating news. It really is.
Yeah, it's shocking. Connell Wood says it wouldn't be a new portable Sony device if it wasn't tied to at least one proprietary Sony format, UMD, Vita memory cards, and now PlayStation Link. The UMDs.
Yep, UMDs are. So I'm glad it's not the Sony hardware, software format anymore, where it's like, okay, we're gonna put our games on weird stuff. I guess Vita cards were whatever, but the wireless protocol, there's reasons, so that's fine. Ezekiel Bouchette, is that Bouchette? How should I say this? Yeah, you think so?
Butt cheat.
Okay. Game devs on all sides.
Are you reading these now?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. My bad. I don't know. I just got confused for a second, Mike. It's one of those days.
It's okay, Jeff.
An old
you're
man.
good. Do you want to read this one? It is directed at you. You can. No,
Games
it's not. The
dev
next one
on
is.
all sides is rough. My back-end team got shifted recently. High level, we're all still employed, which is great. Shout out to Colin, Jenny, Nina, John, Thomas, Ray, passionate people. Yeah, shout out to you, Ezekiel, and your team. Sorry, bud.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry. Big Afroman says, Jeff, what's up with Jez saying on Xbox 2 that you have his nude pics and are blackmailing him so he doesn't leak certain things? Care to explain?
I don't know. Can you trust a man like that?
No.
I don't think you can.
But with his beans? No.
Yeah, especially someone who
Absolutely
has
not.
nudes out there floating around. I don't have them, but I wouldn't trust a man like that.
Dr. Butthugger says, BioWare magic's still there. Jeff, I see a lot of people kind of say this. People used to say it about Blizzard all the time. And I get what they mean. And I get that they don't really mean magic. But, magic's not real. There's only hard work, good management, and in other factors like that, and good people. But it's also, there's a part of me gets tired when like, oh, those people aren't there anymore. Well, yeah, that company like BioWare, who's like first prime was in like 1997. Of course, right?
Yeah.
But, a lot of people making Zelda today aren't the people who are making Link to the Past. And that series is still able to manage well. So it's not necessarily about magic. I know I don't really mean like, woo magic. I know what you mean by magic, but I don't really think it's about that. I think it's just about management and a lot of these other factors. Culture's the important thing, right? You kind of have to keep a culture consistent throughout all time. You can't be swayed by trends like let's make everything online multiplayer and let's have 15 zillion microtransactions and we think RPGs aren't cool anymore. It's just a shooter now. That's the kind of stuff you have to work against.
It's yeah, I mean, Walt Disney's been dead for a long time, and Disney still has some appeal. And it's like, well, how does that work? Well, I mean, it works in that the people that get good in a certain discipline want to go work at these studios, and so it's up to the people that running those studios to make sure that they're attracting that kind of people. I think there's a lot of people working at BioWare who came there because they deeply care about BioWare and their games and their fans. And I think a lot of those people were previously working on Star Wars: The Old Republic and kind of getting that game back into shape. And a lot of those people are in charge of BioWare, and I think that's mostly a good thing. I would still expect good things from BioWare. Great things might be difficult, but I think the studio has the possibility to still put out games that really please fans. So, and I think the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, that sort of love letter, I kind of proved that to a certain extent. Now let's just see if they can do that with a new game.
Aramis Baramis says, just wanted to say thanks for reporting on the BioWare stuff. I think it's an important topic, and some kind of ignored it. I don't know. You think many people ignored it?
I mean, I wasn't like taking the temperature or anything, but
I guess I'd be surprised because I haven't been paid too much attention to it.
Maybe
It's been a lot of people are also
stuff.
a lot of people also do have a lot of their staff at Gamescom right now too. So
That's
maybe
true.
That could be part of it.
That's definitely true. Yes.
Dicene says, you played a trailer for The Last Faith earlier. I just finished the beta, and it's basically Bloodborne meets Symphony of the Night. Enjoyed it a lot.
Ooh.
Yeah, this was another cool-looking one, Jeff. I think you remember seeing this one, too.
I do. Neat. Yeah, no, is that the one that we watched twice because we watched the Summer Game Fest one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I thought that ended up looking pretty good. So, yeah, I'll try the beta.
Hitch says, why don't they remaster Dragon Age 1? Well, excuse me, what's the next PlayStation PC game? Okay, two questions there. First off, Dragon Age 1, I've asked you this before, Jeff. I think I understand why they don't necessarily want to do a trilogy remaster.
Right.
Like they did with Mass Effect, but why not just do one at least? Are they worried that people will bristle because expectations are for a whole trilogy now?
Yeah, well, I think the sort of... it makes more sense as a trilogy, and if they could do it as a trilogy, because then you could put it out as this big $60, $70 thing, right? If you're just remastering Dragon Age 1, you got to do a lot of extra work. You basically have to do a remake to get it to a $60, $70 thing. And then the expectation is, well, then they'll do 2 and 3. And it's like, well, they're not going to do that.
I can't remember if this is correct, but I know it at least looked uglier than Mass Effect. But I remember, despite coming out after Mass Effect 1, Dragon Age 1 may have been older tech, or at least was like definitely a noticeely uglier
It wasn't an Unreal
game.
Engine, right? It was not an Unreal Engine game.
And it was in development longer, even than Mass Effect. So yeah, it would be harder to probably remaster than any of those Mass Effect games were, even the first one.
Right, and the Mass Effect games were one continuous story with like the same character. and it was all in the Unreal Engine. So like it was just all kind of lined up easy to do a remaster trilogy of that. Dragon Age doesn't really have that going for it. Obviously, a lot of crossover characters, a lot of characters from one game to the other, but not in the same way as Mass Effect.
Right, and definitely not. It's a different main character in each of those games. So it's not like you have your shepherd that you're shepherding between each game. Ooh, Kevin says, Kevin says this was in development a long time. Somebody said in chat, now I'm missing it. It might have been the freaking Neverwinter Nights engine, which is man, if that's true, that's incredible. But I might believe that, to be honest.
Seriously.
Okay.
And then he had another
what's
one.
What's the next PlayStation game for PC, you think? We've
had which PS4 ones have we not had yet? Any of them?
Have they done Tsushima yet?
No, it's probably Ghost of Tsushima, yeah.
Probably Tsushima, yeah. I'd probably Ghost of Tsushima. All right, Simon says, odds of a second PlayStation Showcase / first-party focused state of play before the end of the year. They were completely absent from Gamescom.
Like 90% for state of play in September.
Okay. Achievement says, did you see that Arby's parent company is buying Subway for $9 billion? For that money, would you rather have Subway or Bethesda?
Do you think we talk about this? This is all me and Mike talk about.
I would, if I was a business person, I would much rather have Subway than Bethesda, to be completely honest.
Subways are everywhere, but it's also, I don't know, I think Subway's best days are behind it, but maybe not. I think maybe Bethesda's are too.
I tell you what, I'm surprised. I always would have assumed that it would be the other way around, that Subway would be buying Arby's, but maybe Arby's parent company has like a lot of other buckets.
Yeah, they're probably like make munitions for the military.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's
like the leftover aluminum gets used for the sandwiches.
Then Uncharted Wolf says, for Armored Core 6 Metacritic, Mike said 91 and Jeff said 87. The Metacritic score is at 87 for both PC and PlayStation 5, so I can't even like complain about the platform. Like Xbox has way fewer reviews, so whatever. You get 2 points. Oh my god! Hopefully that changes.
What's the Immortals of Avium? You missed by 1. Get good, Mike. Yeah. Come on, get good.
Maybe that'll change. Ah, damn it,
man!
You nailed it. You nailed it. Dang, we're good at this.
Yes,
by the way, I'll talk about some Armored Core 6 when we do our talking about games we've been playing, because I did publish my review for that.
Looking forward to it.
But that's it for Super Chats for now, guys. If you want to send in more, we will read them before the end of the show. Thank you all so much for sending in the Super Chats. Thank you for watching and hitting that like button. We appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take another quick break as we get set up for a quick game that we're going to play. We'll be back after this. All right, Sean, I see that you have the game going. Let's see here. I need that one then, and then I press this game button on.
I like Tiny Glade.
Yeah, that looked nice. That looked fun.
Wait, you like it?
Yeah, Mike liked that one.
I like building things.
I thought you hated it because it was too cozy.
No, he did not say that about that one.
I like that one. No, I didn't say about that one. I was into that one.
Oh, man. Okay. I was about to yell at you.
No, I like it.
About to?
You
do yell at him. In the rundown, you yell at him.
You were about to yell at me. You just came in here yelling at me. Quiznos. Oh, I miss Quiznos Medusa. Quiznos had this probably terrible for me, like chicken Alfredo.
Well, Subway. If I take back the yelling, it's not yelling.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they called it a carbonara, actually. And it's like the kind of carbonara that is just an Alfredo sauce with bacon instead of a carbonara sauce. Hey, Donnie. So, lie. Right, but it tasted amazing. Mm.
I'm good to get us back in there.
Right,
Jeff, what is the best sub sandwich chain? Is it Mike's? Or what is it?
No, I'm just bitter because I had an awful experience at Jersey Mike's once.
Yeah, at Jersey Mike's it seems like they've got a lot going on, so it seems to be easy to mess up. Yeah,
it's just one of those things where it's like they put lettuce on my sub, I didn't want lettuce. I say, hey, you put lettuce on this. Then they like tried to just scrape it off, which is awful, and then an awful job. There's still so much lettuce on it.
That's not okay.
Like, I was like, what? It's like, did you just try to scrape it off? Like, yeah. I was like, can you make a new one, please?
As a sandwich artist,
that's right.
That offends me.
Yeah.
You never stop being a sandwich artist once you become one, by the way.
Yeah.
I worked at Subway and Jimmy John's. I would never have scraped something off and given it back to someone.
So mad.
The ingredients cost like 75 cents. You just remake it. It's not that big a deal. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm going to bring us back in.
Okay.
All right, let's get going. We have a closest to the messy pin. That means I stop talking and Sean starts now.
That's right. It's time for everyone's favorite game show within a podcast. Yeah, again, we're at volume 14 of Closest to the Messy Pin, presented by me, Turbo Sean, powered by Metacritic, executively produced, as always, by Benji Bop. Now, Reminder for everyone, if you don't know the rules, every round the boys will be given a certified retro game. That means a game older than 10 years as of this recording. The goal is to predict the game score as it stands on Metacritic.com. We use a closest to the pin scoring system, meaning every point deviated you are from the actual score, you'll be given 1 point. The goal at the end of the game is to have the low score. Golf rules. If you guess the exact number instead of 0, you deduct 5 points from your total score. I should really check this before we start these games. Who won last time?
I won last time.
Well, yeah, I feel like Mike would know if he won last time, so I'm going to trust him on that, which means that Jeff gets to pick first. I need you to tell me what you think Mech Assault for the original Xbox has. November 11th, 2002, this game came out. This is based on 32 critic reviews.
Okay. Mech Assault for the Xbox from 2002. I am going to say, let's see, if Armored Core 6 gets an 87, I'm going to say this one got an 85. Wait, I'm going to say 83, please.
83, final answer?
Yes,
Okay.
that's my final answer. Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, I remember this game being one of the better liked Xbox exclusives. I'm going to say an 85.
Shit.
Okay.
Please don't be an 85.
God, I hope it's an 85. God, I hope it's an 85.
Well, Mech Assault currently has, and probably forever will have, a 87.
Oh, you know what's fucked up? I wanted to say 87 because that's what you kept thinking. Then I had to go for 85. Then I had to go for 85.
I wanted to say 87, then I talked myself out of it because of Armored Core 6.
Oh my God.
All right, game number 2, Front Mission 4 on
I
the
see the theme.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be the theme, even if it was just the
Who
first
would
one.
thought? June 15, 2004. 39 critic reviews. Mikey's turn to go first.
Yeah, this is rough because we didn't start getting these games till 3 here. I think kind of niche. I want to say I'm going to say like a 78. I don't really know, but I don't think it could have done too well.
Okay.
Well enough.
How are you typing out over there?
I'm pretty sure I won last time. I'm not really complaining. It doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure I won last time.
I thought you did too. I just didn't want to
Didn't
say
it come
anything.
really close? Maybe I.
Yeah, it was. We were tied in the last round, and then I think I went low and you went high, and it was
You
like.
got one.
I'm pretty sure
And I
Chef
think I
won
won.
last
Yeah,
time.
it was like.
Okay, well, look, I can't help it that my brain protects me by giving me false memories. Somebody could have said something
I
earlier.
was like, you were so confident.
I was pretty sure.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
one
Hey, none of
before
us,
the last one,
none of us
you
said
won,
anything,
Mike.
so hey, we're rolling.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't
Is it
really
really?
matter. It's like, yeah,
No,
this
it
game's
doesn't.
varied away.
Really?
All right, Jeff, how you feeling?
I think 78's a really good answer. That's how I'm feeling. Front Mission 4 for PlayStation 2 in 2004. I'll go with a set. I'll go with the 79.
Whoa.
29, all right. Going a little higher then. All right, Front Mission 4 has a 75, so a little bit lower.
Right.
All right.
Good enough. Take it.
Okay,
That's why I thought
that
some
means
cuts over here.
that Mike is in the lead, 5 points to Jeff's 8. Game number 3 is Steel Battalion Heavy Armor for the Xbox 360. June 19th, 2012, 58 critic reviews. Jeff.
I'm gonna go with a 77.
Okay.
This is the Connect one. This game gonna do way worse than that.
Oh, is this the Connect? Oh, it's the Connect. God damn it.
Shit, it's the Connect one. He did it. No, this is my chance.
Yeah, shit. I'm fucked. Never mind. This sucks.
Oh, you stupid son of a bitch. Oh,
You could like do a
here we
0,
go.
and I bet you're gonna be closer.
Yeah, I think it's real low. I could play it a little safe here and still get like 17 points. I'll say, I'm gonna say a 60.
Oh, yeah, I didn't want to say anything. 'cause
Okay, my
that's a
real
key bit
answer,
of
if I could
information
change
there.
it, would be like a 35.
Well, Steel Battalion Heavy Armor has a 38 on Metacritic.
Should have gone even lower. Should have gone even lower, but I was like, I'm already gonna get enough points to win. It's good.
Benji likes it when he makes me press these buttons a lot. Okay, let's see.
So
1,
excited.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
damn it.
Okay.
God damn it.
Update for the audio listeners. That means Mike is in the lead, 27 to Jeff's 47.
Jeff, you only look. I see.
Yeah. And it sucks because it's like there's never been one I'm so sure was in the 30s. Like we've had a couple, and those are always like, oh, now we have add 40 points to our scores. I'm like, no, this one I know was in the 30s. I just know it.
All right, game number 4, Xenogears, released on the PS1, October 20th, 1998. 15 critic reviews. Mike's pick.
Yeah, people like Xenogears. I'm gonna say an 80. 80. People really like Xenogears, but did they like it that much at the time? 88.
88, all right.
I'm gonna go with an 82.
It's 82. Up. There we go. Not a ton of thinking they want to explain in this one. Just
I mean, part of it's like I got to do math, right? Because I need to be so far away from Mike, and I got to get it exactly right to like to close the gap. I know people
in game 4, yeah.
Yeah, I know people liked it, but I also know that people did not like it nearly as much as like some of the other RPGs at the time.
All right. Well, Xenogears has a 84. You were close.
Damn it.
Still 2 points off. Mike was 4 points off.
Yeah, that makes some sense because it does have that unfinished third disc, which I think probably bristled a lot of reviewers, despite the quality elsewhere.
Yeah.
Still a very strong score, though. Speaking of scores, going into the final game, Mike has 31, Jeff has 49. You're going to have to take an interesting turn here if he wants to turn things around.
I'm just hoping it's a really bad game because that's my only
Dynasty
chance.
Warriors
Oh
Gundam 3. Released for the Xbox 360, June 28th, 2011. 27 critic reviews only. Jeff?
Hey, Mike, can we, just to make it interesting, would you mind letting me go second so I have a chance?
Oh, look at this. Look at this. You know what? I'll do it because I did accidentally take going first.
Okay. That's fair. That seems completely fair. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
That is fair.
Thank you.
I am going to give it, I'm going to say it got a 63.
All right, so you think middling. Got
middling
it.
Reviews
really
for this
tough.
third Dynasty Warriors Gundam game.
Yeah, I pinned you down a bit there.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay. I'm going to go with a... let me just do the math again real quick. I'm going to go with a 44.
Okay, wow.
Going really low.
I mean,
Okay.
what choice do I have?
I should have gone so much lower even on the
No, you're right. You're
Connect Steel Battalion game, so we'll see. Could have made a zillion points there.
Well, the beloved classic Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 sits at 65.
All right. Okay, let's go.
Mike was only 2 points off. Jeff was 21 points off.
Listen.
Which
missed it by
means
hair.
final scores, Mike 33, Jeff 70. Failing a bit, just like the robot in the gift.
Just like that robot. Yeah.
Incredible. Very good. Very fun
Good
theme
game.
today.
That was fun.
Good game, Benji. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. All right. We are, you know what? We'll do the next break before the games. We're going to do a best game of 2000. We've been doing these lists, picking the 5 best games of the year. We've done several so far. Now we're going to do the best game of 2000. I am going to get the thing set up after I get my first option here. This was the year that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 came out, Mike.
It sure is.
That's one of the best games of all time. So I am, for me, it's almost a certain lock, and I am that's gonna be the first thing I put up there. It's just, hey, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater made our list last year for 1999 because it was one of the 5 best games.
This is just better,
and this is just better, and it really leaned. It knew a lot of times games will come out and studios will have a pretty good idea of what makes it good. They kept everything that made it good, and then they knew where they could make it better, which was the combo system. It was
manual.
Like the manual. And it was like, if we had a way to connect some of these things so that you can get even bigger combos, it like just will push people's skill level higher and higher and higher. And that's what it did. I remember, playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on Dreamcast at my friend's house over and over and over again every day after school, getting so good at it and having competitions going back and forth. Remember when we first got the 1,000,000-point scores? Of course, the soundtrack and the style and the skaters and the attitude. All that stuff was tip top. It's just such a good game. A game that I can literally go back and play any moment of any day and have a good time with. And of course, the 1 and 2 remix have been fantastic.
No arguments there. Love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. The only reason I don't bristle against it, but like my one thing is I like 3 even more.
Sure.
So that's one I always think about even more than 2. But you're
Yeah,
right,
but if we're
2
looking at
is
if we
incredible.
look at 2000 in a vacuum a little bit, it's
Sure.
like, man, the fact that came along and was that much better even than the first one, which was already so good, was super impressive.
All right.
I'm gonna get this sheet going. So, Mike, if you have any recommendations, let me know.
There's a few games I really, really like that came out in this year. I think maybe the biggest one for me is actually going to be Diablo 2, which was a game I just loved playing then. When I've gone back to it throughout the years, again, another game that had a great remake by the same developer, actually, right? There we go. Diablo 2 is still the pinnacle of that series for me. As much as I did enjoy Diablo 4, Diablo 2 just really nailed things in terms of tone, the aesthetic, the feeling. You know, it has some of that old RPG stuff that maybe feels outdated, but it just works really well here. Like things like having to use mana potions and having to have arrows and stuff like that. I don't know. I just couldn't get enough of this game when it came out. I thought it was the most amazing thing. Beautiful CG cutscenes that managed to take themselves seriously, which was kind of harder to do back then, and it did that very well. Yeah, nothing but love for Diablo 2.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine this list without Diablo 2 on it. Yeah, let me see. See if I can get my list up that I was looking at earlier. Okay. Some people have mentioned The Sims came out in 2000.
Yeah.
How do you feel about The Sims?
It's just never been like really my thing. Like I appreciate it. It's kind of fun. I'm not like, giant Sims guy or anything.
I did. Majora's Mask was this year in the United States, right?
It sure was. Yeah.
I really like Majora's Mask. And I'm gonna put it on the short list. And that's just because it's not one that I'm like, Majora's Mask is one of my favorite Zeldas. So I usually don't think about it in these terms, but we'll see what 2000 looks like. And I think I definitely want to consider it at the very least.
It should be considered.
It's weird Zelda. I mean, I love when Zelda is weird. It's got a lot of interesting ideas. Once you start understanding how to work within the confines of the time limit, it's actually super engaging in a lot of ways. Cause it's at first you start the game, you're like, I hate the idea of losing all this progress I made. And that gives me a lot of anxiety. And then you realize actually it's a little bit freeing because it's really fantastic to go into a world that has been reset and know exactly what you need to do. And then you're just like clicking like one button after another to like get the world back in the state where you were. And it's like last time this took me the whole 3-day period. Now I'm doing it in a little bit of time and I have all this time left to keep exploring new avenues. And so it was really interesting in that way. But at the same time, it's not one I've had the need to really go back and play either. So Majora's Mask on the short list.
On a short list, I like it also. I kind of didn't learn to appreciate it until much later, really with the 3DS re-release. At that time, I think I was intimidated by it, but certainly I do like it a good bit now. Final Fantasy IX, Jeff, this is...
Yeah.
It's definitely my favorite of the single-player Final Fantasies, which is a funny distinction to make these days, but I think this is kind of the epitome of that series as it was in the ATB turn-based era. Just a gorgeous-looking PlayStation 1 game still. Like, that style that they started with Final Fantasy 7, free render backgrounds, the model characters, and just the really slick CG cutscenes, the incredible music. That stuff's all here. And a kind of setting and tone that's a bit more my jive, this kind of more fanciful fantasy setting with a lot of fun characters like Vivi and Steiner. This is just a really, really good time. Super easy, but still deep enough RPG. It's got a fun system where you learn abilities based on the items you equip. So you're sometimes encouraged to equip weaker weapons so that you can earn an ability. That's always been really interesting. Love this game. I'm a big Final Fantasy guy, and this one is always going to be dear to me.
Yeah, as someone who's only played it a little bit, back in the day, I remember being very excited that Final Fantasy was kind of going back to a more fun fantasy setting than what they had done with 7 and 8. So, at the very least, it always had a great appeal to me that I was super into.
And I know I said it's a good time, and I mean that, but it also is surprisingly somber and touching in really, really nice ways. Just a good game. Very memorable game.
2000 things were still happening with the Dreamcast. I like this game. Again, I can't remember if it came out in the United States. Skies of Arcadia. When I played a lot back then, I played a little bit more on the GameCube a few years later. Which year did that come out? 2000? I like Skies of Arcadia a lot, but you're the RPG guy. I'm kind of wondering what your feeling is on it.
Yeah, I actually have my GameCube version and haven't really played too much of it. Yeah, it's funny because at the time, my brother was playing Skies Arcadia and I was playing Grandia too, so I just never really played that much Skies Arcadia, but people do really love it. It's kind of hidden on my to-do list, I'm not going to lie. Now, I would be shocked if it's better than Final Fantasy IX if it's a matter of like picking a JRPG, I guess. But still, sure, worth a consideration here.
Okay, we know we said Counter-Strike last time for the mod, right? So we weren't going to count it this time.
Yeah, exactly. So probably not that. What about okay, this is interesting. WWF No Mercy, was that actually in 2000?
I think it was.
November 17th, 2000 is No Mercy. That's I think most people agree that's the pinnacle of these. You were kind of more of a WCW guy.
I was more of a WCW guy, but they kept making them after WCW collapsed because it's well, we're going to go work WWF. And so they kept getting better. The WWF games were better than the WCW games because they were the WCW games with more and more well thought out. And No Mercy is the best of those for sure. At least the best of the ones that came out in the United States. That's a very good game. I think it's almost good enough to go on this list. I'm going to put it on the short list for sure, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. Ready for another one?
Yeah, please.
Pokemon Gold, Silver, I think even Crystal are all kind of in that 2000. This is the second gen, which is pretty much better than the original gen in every way. Still really similar, I guess. Definitely not as impactful or important as first gen, but this is still Gen 2. People still kind of talk about in hollowed, hushed tones. It seems like, right?
Yes, definitely. I never really played Gold and Silver, and I was looking at playing Heart Gold or Soul Silver here in the last couple of years, but didn't get around to that. Is this one to go on the short list, or do you think it's going to be good enough to automatically go
list.
up? Okay,
I think it's short list, but yeah, definitely worth putting in the short list. I have another one
go ahead. I have another one that I think is kind of a certain one for me on the list, but I want to hear yours first.
I want to hear yours first.
Okay, Vagrant Story, which I adore. It's a later PlayStation 1 game. It takes I guess check and see if that was United States in 2000. But
2000, yeah.
That is the best looking PlayStation game.
You're probably right.
It is. And it's not just best in terms of graphical prowess, which it is, but also in terms of style. It is just astounding. It's got a really good combat system. Really interesting story. Great music. Just high production values across the board. And it's one of those ones where I'm playing an RPG basically and I'm really enjoying it. And there's sort of no caveats to that statement. I love Vagrant Story.
Yeah, despite the limitations of the PlayStation freaking 1, still does a lot of things better than any other game of its kind. Actually incredible what they were able to achieve with Vagrant Story. Yeah, absolutely, definitely worth consideration. Probably maybe even on the list for sure. I have another one that's I would like to see on the list probably a bit, but maybe it doesn't make it. I don't know. And Jeff, I want to take you for a ride because it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah.
Marvel's, I love my Dreamcast. I think Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was by far my most played Dreamcast game. This was the game that actually really got me to care more about 2D fighting games in a way that I thought I was kind of actually done with that. I did not play Third Strike back then, or the Alpha series, or the other Versus games. I really was just full on. I only care about stuff like Virtua Fighter and Soul Calibur. Then the first Marvel vs. Capcom got me in a bit. Then Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with just that giant roster. And it was just so much fun unlocking characters and seeing who the heck was in there. Just playing that game on arcade mode and trying to go through the whole thing and fight that Onslaught, whoever it was at the end. And then use those points to unlock more characters or colors or whatever. It was just so satisfying. But then me and my brothers would play each other all the time. or friends. It was so much fun. I remember like we went to an arcade in Disney World once, and they had an arcade cabinet, and we were like actually able to like play it against all these people and do okay because we had the Dreamcast. It was such a good port of the Dreamcast. That game felt so amazing on there. Gosh, yeah.
Best character select screen, by the way.
Yeah.
Just
gorgeous.
So much beautiful art. A lot of style on that screen. I like that a lot. And Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one I had a lot of fun with my friend's house. He had the Dreamcast, so we'd spend a lot of time there when we played that. This one I could easily see making the list. I'm going to keep it at the top of the short list for now, Mike, but
sure.
I'm also going to leave that 5 spot open, I think, going forward. I'm going to float Phantasy Star Online.
I did like Phantasy Star Online a lot at the time.
I enjoyed what I played of it, and I didn't play a ton at the time, so that's why I'm kind of throwing it out there.
Okay, 2001, January for US,
all right.
so
cool. All right, great.
Just shocking to me, man.
Yes,
gosh.
Yeah.
God, that system burned bright and fast.
Yes,
man.
it did. Yes, very fast. Shenmue, you're not a Shenmue guy, or was that 99?
Yeah, I think we talked about that last year. Some people were mad at us. That's always so weird to me, the people are still like, no, Shenmue's great. Like, I'm not even saying Shenmue's bad, but I'm surprised people are still passionate about Shenmue.
They are, though. They definitely are, and that's fine. It's definitely not for me.
Are.
Banjo-Tooie.
Just not as good as Banjo-Kazooie.
Agreed. It's too... They learned the wrong lessons from Banjo-Kazooie. They went huge levels that were not as fun.
Here's a game that I haven't played. I wish I did, so I could consider it. But people really like No One Lives Forever. I hope that game gets remastered someday.
That would be
that
a
I can
great
really
one.
I
think that's one that might have had some like rights issues. But I also think I thought they got solved. So man, it would be great if Night Dive could do that one. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, this is okay. This is not going to make it. This is a personal favorite. Star Trek Voyager Elite Force. That's my favorite. You know how like Dark Force is the best of all the Doom clones. Elite Force is the best of all of like the Quake 3 engine games. I don't know what you even call it. I think it was that. Might have been an Unreal Tour. I don't know. But of that era, like that circa 2000 PC shooter, I loved Star Trek Voyager Elite Force. What a goofy, fun game.
I'll do mine. That is that same thing. Excite Bike 64. If let's close out the trilogy of the great N64 extreme sports games. This is back when they were still figuring out 3D gaming, so it's impressive that they got it right out of the gate. That was true for Wave Race, true for 1080. It's also been true for Excite Bike. And then it was also they're like, we're working in 3D. It could be realistic, and that means let's be like true to real life and really, or exaggerate real life physics. But that's what's fun is how the bike interacts with the ground and stuff like that. And they took that to an extreme, and that people are going to play that game and be like, there's a lot going on here, because there is, and it's super impressive that again, this is the first 3D system from Nintendo, and this is what they're making with their 3D games. And it blew me away at the time, and it still holds up to this day. It's just, it's Excite Bike 64. It's not going to play.
Yeah, kind of like on a similar end. Like I really like Jet Set Radio back then, and I know you recently said how like you didn't quite jive with it, which I can understand.
Yeah,
because I had the same thing at first, where I was like, oh, this is going to be like a Tony Hawk, and it's not. It's definitely a game on its own terms, but so much style. Very early. Cell shading at a time where like that was kind of like the whole marketing bullet point for it was the cell shading, and it still looks really cool, really fun game. I might like Jet Set Radio Future even more, which is on the horizon. Oh shit, Daikatana is 2000. Let's fucking go.
Deus Ex is 2000.
Oh man, that's rough. Because
I like Deus Ex, but I came to it late and I didn't love Deus Ex.
I have just never really quite made it yet. I always keep planning to go play Deus Ex. At the time, it was beyond me is the problem. It was a bit much for me. I just haven't really gone back. So I feel bad because I think a lot of people would put Deus Ex on their list.
Do you know why I played it?
No.
Because I was on an episode of the Squadron of Shame.
Nice.
And we were talking about that game.
Incredible. I wonder why because I was pretty good at keeping up with the Squadron of Shame. I think I did start playing it for that and then just didn't quite make it. That's why I played Silent Hill 2 back in the day, was because of Squadron of Shame.
I remember playing it at the time saying it's like, it felt very like try hard, inspired by Matrix in a lot of ways in terms of its style. And I think that's still true, but that's actually kind of charming these days.
Yeah, that we like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, now I really like that. So yeah, exactly, whatever. But yeah, Deus Ex is one that I like, I don't love.
Yeah, no, that's fair. There's some other weird, interesting games on here, but maybe it's time we see what our community has to say. They'll pick up on some of the ones we haven't talked about yet, like
Yes.
like Thief 2 and Wario Land 3. Who knows?
Yes, give me a second while
Code
I get that
Veronica.
going.
Crazy text.
Yeah, Code Veronica. Let's go.
Icewind
there we
Dale.
go.
I tried playing Icewind Dale 2 once, and I was very confused. Today, maybe I can manage it.
All right, let me see. I got the podcast stuff here. There we go. Okay. Let's see. From our community, the Bop Rush Cyberfunk says the Poke Bros are back to bully you into picking gold and silver. It's on the short list. We can't promise anything else. Cranch Basketball says Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on Dreamcast. And he says Majora's Mask is a terrible video game.
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible's a bit much. Jackie G says, I know how you guys feel about Majora's Mask, so I'm prepared for heartbreak. That being said, it's my favorite piece of media to ever grace my life. I love that game.
It is impressive. Like, the people who like Majora's Mask
Yes.
really like Majora's Mask, and I do respect that.
Exactly. I
about
like
it.
that there are people out there whose favorite thing in the world is Majora's Mask. And we got one of them right here in our Discord. I really do actually love
The
that.
people who defend Twilight Princess would never defend it as passionately as the Majora's Mask defenders.
Exactly. And I don't believe them as much as I believe the Majora's Mask
Yes.
defenders. Yes, agreed. Twilight Princess is all right. Chuck 1991.
Good dungeons. Good dungeons
Yes,
in that
definitely.
game.
Going to really hope you all watched that Nero video, and even if you don't prefer to play the N64 version of Majora's Mask, you know how unique and special it is. I know it's unique and special, definitely. I've not watched that video, but I'm going to. You piqued my
I
curiosity.
didn't even know about this, but it sounds fun.
Sans name said WWF No Mercy. I'm 36 now. Good God, when did that happen? And I'm
I'm 36 also.
I'm quite sure this game is still my most played game ever. The 4-player matches I had with my cousins will forever be some of my best gaming memories. Jet Inc. says, oh, sweet, we are at my birth year.
Oh, gosh.
Let's go with The Sims. Yakuza Wolf 5 says, the start of the new millennium begins with another mediocre year for games. Spyro Year of the Dragon is my pick. Probably going to be ignored again because Mike hates Spyro for some reason.
I do not hate Spyro.
He doesn't hate Spyro. I don't even hate Spyro.
It's a series of very good 8 out of 10 range
Yes.
games that aren't going to be amongst the top 5 for
They
any
weren't
year.
even trying to be beyond 8 out of 10 games. They were so happy to be 8 out of 10s.
They were the best 8 out of 10. They're very good games.
Yes. Eden says, video games from hell. Diablo 2 is my pick. An honorable mention to Counter-Strike 1.6.
I think we consider Counter-Strike last. Counter-Strike's a real kind of fuzzy because
Yeah,
it's a
so
mod.
Counter-Strike 1.6 for a lot of people is Counter-Strike, but yeah.
It's fuzzy.
Razzled Jazzled, a few well-received RPGs came out this year, but among worthy contenders, Final Fantasy IX stands out.
Gotta love Final Fantasy 9.
Evo Janice says Perfect Dark, which is a game I really like. I really do. I think I hold it in higher regard than GoldenEye as a better game, but I had more fun playing GoldenEye because more of my friends were playing at that time.
I won't tell you what I think about Perfect Dark. I already lay it on thick enough with poor GoldenEye over there.
Yeah, and I definitely, yes, I get it. It's basically the same, but Perfect Dark's multiplayer options were state of the art at the time. It was really cool. From Benji, Majora's Mask, he says, my all-time favorite game until Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Casual says, Zeus, Master of Olympus is one of my all-time favorite games. City building paired with Greek mythology. This gem plays like a dream. Man, this is a good cover art. I kind of want to go back and play this. I never even heard of it.
Yeah. Was it? I forget. I don't forget it's the same company, but they like remade Cleopatra or whatever. Like the Egyptian version of this is basically. I'm not sure. But God, that looks. I think it says
Inventions Company and something. Whatever that is down there. I can't read it. Joy Use says, since Majora's Mask won't get the appreciation it deserves, I want to shout out The Longest Journey. I remember that game vaguely.
I made basically everybody. I remember all the LucasArts people who were despairing at the time because the writing was on the wall. We did get Escape from Monkey Island this year, which is okay. A lot of people were saying Longest Journey was very good. I never actually quite got to it, but the people do like it.
Boomer of the Wild said, oh, let's freaking go. 2000, the year of the Millennium. Y2K and the best game of that year, Jet Set Radio. This should be on everyone's list just for the style alone.
A lot of style.
Jamie H. Christmas Eve says Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 came out when I was 10 years old, and it 100% shaped both my music taste and my fashion choices in my teenage years. Honorable mention to Ghost Babel. Oh yeah, that's a good game. Chaos Buckaroo, Pokemon's Gold and Silver. Yeah, you'll point out plenty of issues, but the game is still great despite them. Duck Sauce says Deus Ex. Beef Hammer says Majora's Mask is going to get the love it deserves because you boys are going to put it up there.
Man, there's a lot of people going to bat for Majora's Mask in our Discord. Jeez.
Yep, including Matt Raremonkey, who put Majora's Mask at the top. And then he includes Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Deus Ex, Diablo 2, and No One Lives Forever. Crouching Boomer Hidden Zoomer says Wario Land 3's Metroidvania elements make backtracking in levels a lot of fun.
It's a fun game. I played it for the first time last year, and it was very good. I liked it a lot.
Bench JC says Final Fantasy 9, one of the best games of all time. Tokyo Game Life mentions Pokemon Gold and Silver in the top 5. It's proof that the last ember of joy has left your souls if you don't include it. Vision 49 says, listen up, you Philistines. You got two of the best immersive sims maybe ever coming in 2000. Thief 2, The Metal Age, is the best in the series, and Deus Ex is the best thing to come out of Ion Storm.
I think Anachronox is the best thing to come out of Ion Storm, but, potatoes.
Octo says, hey, Mike, you going to get that classic Escape from Monkey Island on the list, right?
No, sure I'm not.
Mr. Buller says, my main two selections are Pokemon Gold and Silver and The Sims. Both should be on this top 5 easy. I played a lot of The Sims at the time. It just hasn't stuck with me. Super Harmon, not sure where you guys are on it, but boy, is Deus Ex both incredible and highly influential.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm going to feel the worst about.
I think
not having a stronger opinion on, to be honest, but...
Always be clothing / Corgi says, so here I am doing everything I can, holding on to what I am, pretending I'm a Superman. And then he says Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, but I'm pretty sure Superman was in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Screaming Madden says, aha! In that field, feel the power. Yeah, Mike, what is he doing here?
Only thing you're hitting is the ground in the showers. Playbook full of techniques. I'm playing for keeps.
Okay, Madden.
This is a Madden thing. Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Those were all lyrics from the Madden specific rap, "The Mad in the Game" by Exhibit for Madden NFL 2001.
Man, I was worried I was gonna lose my nerd card. Like this was some Tony Hawk song I forgot or something. I'm so relieved.
Which actually should be considered because that on PS2 ushered in the best era of Madden. But if not, please consider Wario Land 3. I think I will consider that. Madden NFL at this point was actually very good. NFL 2K was actually pretty good this time too. Shoji Koto says, amazing year for extreme sports games. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, SSX, Dave Mirra, Freestyle, BMX. Those are all very good games. Of the SSX games, I think I like Tricky the best. I can't remember which one's the best, but
3 or Tricky, I think usually is the consensus.
Yeah. Hosp says Pokemon Gold and Silver, if for nothing else, then the shiny red Gyarados. I can never say that name. Gyarados. Flobotron says Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, a vampire RPG with a several 100-year time jump in the story. First, your character looks like a crusader with a great sword, and then suddenly he's an edgelord with a minigun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously people, care about this game. I never played this game.
Did this ever get a remaster? I think didn't they say they're going to do a remaster? I know there's a sequel.
A lot of things,
yeah,
right?
And that hasn't
been going very well, but yeah.
Lenny Cool Dick Dimber says, I'll give you a shout out to Command & Conquer Red Alert 2, a game that I still dip into now and still has an online player base. I think it's my favorite RTS campaign ever. Ray says multiple important games already mentioned. Deus Ex would top my list, but The Sims was also incredibly good. And we didn't have microtransactions yet. He also mentions Diablo 2 and Counter-Strike. Gigantes 42 says Pokemon Gold and Silver. Slane says the first Paper Mario came out this year. Though technically the 1,000-Year Door might be better, the original will always have a soft spot in my heart. Did you see that? Did you see that Paper Mario TTYD 64? It's Paper Mario 1, but with a lot of the features like badges from Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door. It's a fan mod, obviously. I'm like, I might want to play that.
Paper Mario's a good game. I had a hard time really loving it because I was so stupidly bitter about it not being Mario RPG 2. Even though, gameplay-wise, it so is. But basically, I was upset that Gino and Mallow weren't in it.
Yep. Yeah, I felt pretty similar, although I think...
And by 1,000-Year Door, I was over that and just really, really liked that game.
Rock Party says Diablo 2. Giggy64 says, Jeff and Mike, please give me this one. Released for North America in the year 2000 for PS1. Front Mission 3 still stands out as one of the best turn-based strategy mech games. And if it doesn't make the list, at least let me hear you guys say Wanzer on the show.
Wanzer. This is the first one I think we got here, and I know even according to the Front Mission fans, this is the first really good one.
I would play a turn-based strategy mech game. with Lancers.
I mean, I think you had. I thought, isn't that basically that Into the Breach you love?
Yes, it is. Into the Breach, fucking good. Dr. Ryan says, it always gets forgotten, but the hidden gem of 2000 and a game that deserves to be on the list is No One Lives Forever. Sasquatching says,
but by the way, I think you missed what Breadfish said. Paper Mario. Just don't want Breadfish to be forgotten.
Well, okay, yes, thank you, Breadfish. Sasquatchy says, Command & Conquer Red Alert 2. Teriyaki Blues says, I'd seriously consider Madden. The jump from PS1 to PS2 felt insane at the time.
We have so many RTS fans in the Discord, Command & Conquer fans specifically. I think I was just in a weird bubble. I did not realize Command & Conquer was that well liked.
Command & Conquer was very good at this time.
Yeah.
America Dragon 98 says Skies of Arcadia. Seraphis Kane says Diablo 2. Wong Gifts says played Threads of Fate a couple months ago.
Oh, I want to play this game so badly. This is like a weird action RPG from Square Enix at the time. That's something of a hidden gem. I've been seeing like a lot of videos about this game recently. I really want to play Threads of Fate. You have 2 different characters to play as, and like the girl is like the worst person ever in a really funny way. Yeah, I think this would be a good playthrough.
DMC Depressed Me Crying says Spyro Year of the Dragon and Kirby 64 Crystal Shards.
Yeah, Kirby 64 mid.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Fine.
Nick Turbo says, hope you are having a pialicious 314th episode. My dogs. Okay, yeah, episode pie. I know the levels are sometimes too big, and you two are apparent Banjo haters, but I love Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Tooie continues in its predecessor as one of the best feeling 3D platformers ever made. I don't hate Banjo-Tooie. I just do not like it as much as Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, and look, he's mad because we didn't get Banjo-Kazooie in the list for its year, and I feel a little bad about that. But it's rough, wasn't it? 1998 was its year, so what are you gonna do? It's hard there for Banjo. All
right, I'm going back to Sasquatch because he says in the chat I never read his extra stuff, and he does say also shout out to Sacrifice and Giants Citizen Kabuto for both being weird ass games.
Citizen Kabuto
with
was this
messed
year?
up humor. Yeah, I still remember to this day. I've never played Giant Citizen Kabuto, and I've always wanted to.
That's an underrated game. That's a weird, goofy game. That was like the first game I remember where like you're just playing a third-person action/shooter game, then all of a sudden, surprise, it's kind of an RTS. Brutal Legend did the same thing later, and even that Minecraft game did it recently.
Yeah.
Like, Giant Citizen Kabuto. My brother AJ really liked that game. I used to watch him play it a lot. It was a silly, silly game.
That one, where did it come out at? Was that
PC?
A PC? Okay.
That's a PC joint.
What is the one I'm thinking of that is was on 64 DD?
Oh, you're thinking about
Dojin the Giant.
Dojin the Giant.
Yes.
Oh, you're thinking something else.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, but I remember the name Giant Citizen Kabuto, but I guess I never really knew what it was. Corley Poo, if counting hours back then was more popular, I'd probably have several thousand hours in Command & Conquer Red Alert 2. If it wasn't for its sequel, it would probably be my candidate for the greatest RTS of all time. But the best game of 2000 is Majora's Mask. Isaac Clark says Final Fantasy IX. Edward says Vagrant Story. Here we go. ID Kevin says The Sims, but also shout out to Bomberman 64, The Second Attack, and Harvest Moon, Back to the Nature. Christian says King of Fighters 2000, just because it gave us the coolest character ever, Vanessa.
Yeah, I see why you like this character.
Yeah, Vanessa also looks pretty. Those are some good sprites.
She can beat the shit out of me, that's why.
There you go.
Edgar Marino says Majora's Mask is the GOAT. Turbo Sean, so what if Mega Man Legends, but with modern day dual analog controls, way before those were commonplace? Mega Man Legends 2.
Okay, man, I played Mega Man Legends 1 recently and really liked it. I do need to finally play Legends 2 at some point. Man, there's a lot of people on our Discord who carry a giant torch for Majora's Mask. I mean, we obviously have a lot of Nintendo people in here, so that's not too shocking, but I'm surprised.
I would put Majora's Mask at 5. I like that game a lot.
I would if it didn't mean Marvel vs. Capcom 2 couldn't get on there. That's my problem with that. I don't know. I guess I don't want to be frumpy, but yeah, I'm a little. I don't quite see Majora's Mask being that important. I don't know. I like Majora's Mask, and I get it. It's not that high for me, but if it is for you, Jeff, if you feel that strongly about it,
it's a top 10 of game of the year for me. I do struggle to put it in the top 5. It's just because, like I said, I haven't had the urge to go back and play it ever, and even when I tried the 3DS version when it came out, I fell off it. I don't know. I think
that's the only time I ever beat it. And,
I think I would just be putting up there to make people happy, and I don't want to do that.
Right, we're not pandering.
Yeah. So for audio listeners, the list right now that we have, and this is mostly unordered. We'll talk about that in a second. But the seeming locks, and this is always up for discussion: Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Diablo 2, Final Fantasy 9, Vagrant Story. And then in the short list, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, WWF No Mercy, Majora's Mask, Pokemon Gold and Silver, Excite Bike 64, and Jet Set Radio. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely see it being between Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Majora's Mask, with Deus Ex being the one I feel the worst about not having a stronger opinion.
A special shout out to WWF No Mercy.
Shout out to No Mercy.
Yeah. Mike, I'm okay with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 going up there because, like I said, Majora's Mask is not the one I hold a torch for.
Okay, and not that this list needs to be all my favorites, and I want to specify it's not.
It's not. No,
people have been coming at me.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, especially it's number 1, and then Vagrant Story up there. I'm good.
Yeah, but I do care about Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
And I like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 a lot.
A lot. Very much a lot. Oh man, yeah. Kanal's right. This is gonna be our first Nintendo free list.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah, well, because the Nintendo 64 was so mid. I'm not shocked that it's.
I mean, Excite Bike 64 actually is better than anything up there except for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. But yeah, it's. I
do like Gold and Silver a lot.
I mean, Majora's Mask is good, and also I like Perfect Dark.
Actually, yeah. Oh, there's plenty of good games.
Mario Tennis is this year. That Mario Tennis is a great game. I would also take that over almost anything on this list. But yeah, Paper Mario, sure. Okay, so Mike, I think this is the 5: Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Diablo 2, Final Fantasy 9, Vagrant Story, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I'd put I would put Diablo, Final Fantasy, and Marvel vs. Capcom over Tony Hawk 2. But if you feel super strongly about that, I'm not going to
say it again.
Oh, I would put Diablo. Tony Hawk 2 would be more like 4 for me.
Yeah.
But you feel really strongly about it, and
I do.
That's fine. I don't care.
Let me see. And you okay? Yeah, I don't know. I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It's at least number 2, I think. So what would you put at number 1?
Probably Diablo 2, to be honest.
I think I'm okay with that actually, because that Diablo 2 is.
It's kind of the height of not really, but this is the midst of unbeatable Blizzard, of Blizzard being just like hit important game maker after hit important game maker.
Chat is giving me power. They're spirit bombing me for Tony Hawk's at number 1. Sorry, Mike, we're keeping Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 at number 1.
That's okay.
Diablo 2 strong number 2. Honestly, it's 1A, 1B, but it's yes, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 at number 1, Diablo 2 at number 2, Final Fantasy 9, Vagrant Story at number 4. And Marvel vs. Capcom 2 at number 5. Do you want to make any changes now to that ordering? For Vagrant Story, I'm okay if that's at number 5. I honestly don't mind.
I was going to say, give me that. Give me Marvel vs. Capcom 2 at 4 then.
Okay, yeah, deal. I could do that.
There you go.
Let's go there, and then.
Yeah, I do like my Marvel vs. Capcom quite a bit.
Oh,
it's Marvel time, baby.
Oh, that's so Pringles. Where your curly mustache at? Love it.
All right.
Pretty good.
So,
you know that something is culturally relevant when even Mike knows the Yipes commentary.
Yeah. He even knew who Jipes was when I told him. That was crazy.
All right, Game of the Year 2000, starting at number 5, Vagrant Story. The number 4 is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Number 3, Final Fantasy 9. Number 2, Diablo 2. And number 1, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. That's a very good list.
So here, Michael, I'm curious now because I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 was number 1 for 1999. I wonder if Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is going to be number 1 for 2001 because it's a distinct possibility.
It is definitely a possibility. I mean, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is that good, but but 2001 also I feel like was a good year, but I could be misremembering.
Well, we're getting PlayStation 2 games really going off. I think
2,
we might have Metal Gear Solid 2, Final Fantasy 10 maybe even. So yeah, it's going to be a busy year.
All right, let me. You know what? Actually,
we're going to be getting 2 years where Kingdom Hearts comes out soon.
Well, that's not going to be a problem.
I'm going to make it a problem.
Oh, boy.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about the games we've been playing. We'll be back after this.
All right, I'm going to take the
All right.
All right, and I'm going to post this.
All right. Fuck the
chat. Anybody who thinks look, I like Final Fantasy 8. I defend Final Fantasy 8. Anybody who thinks Final Fantasy 8 is better than Final Fantasy 9 is actually Go see a
Yeah.
doctor.
Go see a
me,
doctor.
yes, yes.
This is the
Yeah,
one
Mike
time
is
I agree
right.
with the Final Fantasy take from
Mike
Mike.
is right. Yeah, I don't have any strong feelings about those two games, but Mike is right.
Final Fantasy VIII always looked. I don't know. It looked.
It's still a good game. That's the problem.
It's
People
still
are
a
like,
good
it's a
game,
bad
yeah, but-
game. No, it's good. It's just not as good
It's
as
not
7
better
and 9.
than 9.
But I don't know. It has
7.
this certain weird swagger to it that I never liked, where it's like,
Yeah,
we're the people that made
sure.
Final Fantasy VII. Now watch us pull up our britches and make a real video game.
Oh, I always thought it was because it was teenagers.
Yeah,
I mean, that's definitely it's definitely part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt very like Titanic, which I don't even know if it was out at that point, but
yeah.
it felt like Titanic. Yeah.
Man, Twitter is going to love you putting Vagrant Story over Gold and Silver. They're just going to love it.
Oh yeah.
It's right though.
Did you even say
No.
did you even
Okay,
say-
hang on. Hang the fuck on. You motherfuckers put the broken ass mess of a game, red and blue, on a list, but you're not putting gold and silver on the list.
There's cultural, historic things. Okay, you're right, but still, red and blue. I was like, I don't know. I guess we can put that on
It's for
there.
the engagement. Nobody tell anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, of course, that's what all this
it's
is.
for the likes. Yeah,
Yeah.
do you even say the worst Code Veronica aloud? Because that
Did they
game is
have to?
great, and
Uh,
that game is so
I
good.
I
It's one
looked
of
at
the
Code
best
Veronica and I was going to
Resident
wait for Mike to say it, and he didn't. So
Yeah, nobody said Code Veronica.
yeah, no one
which
said
is
Code
crazy.
Veronica. I don't think. Yes. It's
Crazy.
it's definitely one of those ones where I know people liked it, but at the time I remember
Pretty good.
playing it on Dreamcast and then being like, something about this feels pretty out of date with these tank controls. Not that
the
I'm
tank
fine with tank
controls
controls.
are a
I'll play a
problem.
game with tank controls. It felt out of date and
I
out of place
won't.
at that
It
time.
almost feels like it was supposed to be Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
The Vagrant Story is the Baba Yetu of this list.
No. The difference is
Yeah, that's
Vagrant
right.
Story is
Fucking
good.
incredible. You're absolutely right, Ricky.
I look. I realize I came at the Final Fantasy 8 people really hard, and I apologize.
Backwards apology.
Look, I wasn't wrong, but still, I was out of
I
line.
shouldn't have said it. He's out of line. He's not wrong, but he's out of line. Oh man. Okay, let's see.
What's that thing that like you don't need to be a dick to be like truthful? And
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. I'm not gonna lie, it felt good to say it. I felt a little bad.
All right, let's see here.
Oh,
Okay. I think we can bring him back in. Are we good? Everyone good?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're back. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Mike, I've been playing a lot of games we can't talk about still. Sorry about that, everybody. That'll change soon. But I've been playing a few other things, but mostly I'm interested in what have you been spending your time with?
Yeah, well, I reviewed Armored Core 6, The Fires of Rubicon.
Yes.
So I was able to play through that whole campaign and publish my review for the embargo. I gave it 4.5 out of 5, which means that I really liked it, Jeff.
Yes.
Really liked it quite a lot. I think like a lot of people, I did not have much experience with Armored Core going in. I had some idea of what I was getting into. I played other mech adjacent games. I played Daemon Ex Machina for the Switch. Remember that game?
Yes, I do.
That happened.
Uh-huh. People like that
Ugly
game.
ass game. Well, it's fun. Ugly as sin.
Yeah.
This game, not ugly. Very, very pretty game. And I know Elden Ring was rough on PC, especially at launch. This game runs really well, at least on my PC, my 3070 Ti system. Looked really good. Just even like the art, like the robots obviously look great. Excuse me. Like I love the whole snowy, kind of desolate, industrial, abandoned vibe. I think it's just because of Final Fantasy VI taught me to associate mechs with snow so strongly, right? So like that just worked really well for me. But it is just like a fun gameplay loop of starting with like this simple mech, slowly customizing it, doing missions, getting money, unlocking more options. It is like at first I was like, okay, so you have all this freedom so that you can play however you want to. It's not necessarily that. Maybe if you're very good, but for me, somebody newer to this, it is very much okay. I actually do need to like think about the mission a little bit and maybe change my loadout based on that, or maybe a couple of times. One big time, there was a pretty big difficulty spike, kind of towards the end of chapter 1, where there's this big boss fight. There was one time I just straight up had to quit the mission, go back and grind some older missions to get more money and just completely upgrade and change my loadout because I just wasn't getting anywhere.
Yeah,
with my
you're not the
current
only
mech.
one who's had that experience, it seems like.
Right. And, it's like, hey, From Software difficulty spike. That's not exactly a surprising thing. But, it is also kind of fun to start thinking about that stuff. Like, okay, well, this mission is going to have a really slow, lumbering boss fight. So it's okay if I have, like, my grenade launchers that are really powerful, but they fire pretty slowly, have a, and they
slow
maybe
you
are
down,
going to
yeah.
hit airborne targets very well, right? Stuff like that. But, and you do kind of find stuff that works generally pretty well. Like, I generally settled on a pretty heavy mech, like not one with like the actual like tank treads, but a pretty heavy mech that could hold dual Gatling guns. So that was a really steady, consistent damage. And then I would often change out my shoulder weapons depending on the situation a lot of the time. So like I still generally had the mech I was going with. It's not like I had to rebuild a new mech for every mission or anything like that.
Jan mentioned that in the quick look that he was doing the two fingers on the triggers, or index and middle fingers up on the shoulder buttons. Were you playing that way, or do you always play that way? I don't know.
I guess I've never even really thought of it like that before. How do I play?
Because I normally just roll my index finger back and forth depending on if I'm hitting the shoulder or the bumper.
I feel like I'm holding control right now to figure this out.
Yes.
No, I think I just do one.
Okay.
I just kind of roll it.
And you were doing that for Armored Core as well. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because you do have to push all four of those shoulder buttons pretty regularly. That's where all your four weapons are going to be bound to. So yeah, it's it can be a lot. It's a complicated game. In some sense, it kind of better be if I'm piloting a giant robot, right? I kind of want that feeling to be there.
Jan Jerome Ochoa in chat says, as a Vagrant story, Vagrant story shouldn't be up there. I disagree.
Hey, Jan, we're just talking about you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking about your fingers, Jan, like always. Thanks for tuning in, man. I'm excited to play this game still. I also expect, like, I'll go in there and be like, even knowing and having people tell me over and over and over again, don't expect like the recent From Software games or for this to play like the recent From Software games. I bet I'm still going to go in there and be like, oh, I'm surprised how much this isn't one of those, and it is like whatever Armored Core was, a game series I've never played.
And I was the same way. It's like, I get it. Of course, it's not going to be like those, but I was like surprised that there wasn't a little bit more of that. Like where it is, like some of those bigger boss fights, especially with like the bosses with the big tells of when you're supposed to dodge, right? And then like you have your 3 healing items. So there's a little bit of that, and just I guess customization, that's maybe stretching things. That's a lot of games. But, even from what I understand of Armored Core, it's like, oh yeah, this is just that again, but with a lot more polish, a lot of Elden Ring money kind of clearly thrown its way. And you can see it, like I said, it's a very pretty game. It's also simple in ways that I almost like.
Yeah.
Like there's not a single rendered human in this entire game, and that is fine
I love
with
that,
me.
actually. That's fantastic.
Yeah, the hell with that. You see robots, you see buildings, when people talk to you, it's over a radio. And I'm like, that's fine. That's probably part of why it also looks really good, because they're not doing stuff like that. But, like some things will bristle you a little bit. Like, so, when you go on a mission, you're just in a level, and it's pretty big, but you will also run across, like, invisible walls. And it'll be like, don't leave the mission parameter. It's like, okay, I get it. I get why you have to do that. I don't want to speak blasphemy, but it's hard not to imagine what this would be like if it was just like a straight up open world, more kind of a thing where you are just exploring this giant space. Because the movement is really fun. It's maybe the best thing here is because you can basically sort of fly. You have thrusters, even on a heavier mech, they can be pretty generous. If you make the right mech, you can really just fly around, and that feels fantastic. It's almost like that best part of Anthem, right?
Yeah,
was the flying. And you kind of have that here too, especially with like levels where there's sort of buildings you're weaving in and out of. And sometimes you're kind of using that to maybe avoid some of the less necessary fights to get yourself to the mission objective. That feels very good.
When I did see that at Summer Game Fest and seeing the movement, it's like, man, this just looks slick as hell. It looks like it feels great to move these big heavy machines around with all those great thrusters, and the look of the thrusters was really good as well. So yeah, that's the thing I'm most excited about. Get my hands on, move the mech around. This game is going to be the best-selling Armored Core game without any doubt about that at all. Do you think that it does well enough that they start just like, okay, this is our other ongoing series, and then they could get to a point where it's like, maybe we do one that is more open? Or do you think they're happy to stick with it being like their smaller game that is more concise and easier to get done.
You could see both ways. You can see them like maybe making this really ambitious Armored Core 7, or maybe be like, okay, let's reconvene in another 10 years. We can just kind of do one of these again, and people will like it, and those fans will be happy. It's hard to tell. Like, I know Armored Core 4, they sort of just like reused a lot of stuff to make a pseudo sequel or a sideways sequel before they made Armored Core 5, right? There's 4 Answer. Maybe they can do similar something. I just combined something and similar into a word. You can do something similar with that here. It's hard to say because, you know, they have to make an Elden Ring 2. You have to imagine that maybe at some point they might want to make a Sekiro 2 or a Bloodborne 2. Who knows? Or maybe another entirely new thing. Or maybe FromSoft is actually just able to expand so much that they can have this going as a vertical also. I'm not sure.
Your internet doing okay? You went all squiggly wiggly on us. I know your voice is still coming through like 90%, but you got a smeared video feed now, and it does seem like a connection issue. But
okay, but I hear you completely fine.
Okay,
Sorry,
I think we're probably gonna get through.
Oh yeah, just continue.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Yeah, Mike has gone to Plaid. Everybody, that's what's happened here. Somehow I'm gonna make time for this. I don't know how, but it is out tonight, right? Is that right? Yeah, it comes out because it's gonna be out tomorrow officially. So probably like tonight by midnight it'll be launched. That is, I'm ready for it. I'm gonna get it going right here on this machine and play a little bit of it. But I got a million games to play right now, including a lot of stuff we got to do for Quick Looks next week, and we got to leave in the middle of next week because of PAX. So short on time, but I'll find some time to at least play a little bit of this.
Apparently on Steam already. So
okay.
Yeah, it's been out on Steam.
Fantastic. Well, then I'm going to start downloading it as soon as we're done here. Okay. Anything else, Mike, that you've been playing, or anything else about Armored Core 6?
Gosh, nothing else. I think I kind of said what I want to say about it. You want to see something depressing though? Go to the Armored Core subreddit and see people freaking out about reviews, even though it's it has to be the best reviewed Armored Core game ever, and they still all they can do is scour reviews for something that upsets them to get mad about.
Yeah, that's how it goes, and it's just like. I mean, listen, the Armored Core fans have been very thirsty for this game for a very long time, and they want it to be Game of the Year material. And I think for a lot of people, this probably is going to be their Game of the Year. They're probably going to like it that much. It just might not be the consensus Game of the Year because look at this year, and
oh no way, it's going to be.
Yeah, it's like that's and for From Software, that's abnormal now because their last several games have been Game of the Year.
Is that what they're thinking here? They're not thinking like this is so good for Armored Core. They're thinking like in 87, whoa, but Elden Ring was in the 90s, and look at all these other games were in the 90s this year. Is that really where we are? Incredible.
That's where we are. Yes. So yeah, I'm glad to hear you liked it. I'm glad to hear so many people are liking it. Even Jan, who got frustrated with it a little bit, he seemed like by the end, he's like, you know what, there's a lot of good stuff going on here. So I think that's kind of where I'm gonna end up with it as well.
Yeah.
Mike, this game has multiplayer. Did you try it? Because this game did not have multiplayer before.
I thought they always did. What do you mean?
They always did?
Yeah, that's what everyone says. Armored Core always had some, for a while had PvP.
Maybe not online multiplayer because of the series has been around for a very long time.
They turned servers on and just never was able to ever find a match. It does not seem to be very important, to be clear. Like it is just, you basically have the PvP against a bunch of bots as like a way to earn points to get passive upgrades. I wasn't that interested or cared that much about missing out on the PvP.
What makes the first boss so hard again?
If we're talking about first bosses, first big boss for one,
that difficulty spike you were talking about.
The biggest thing is that he kind of has this big energy shield, and it's kind of the first time you're learning like, well, what the energy shield has to be taken down with energy weapons. So you kind of need to have energy weapons at that point, and even then, he just has a lot of health and deals a lot of damage compared to everything else so far in that game. He also has he's a bunch of attacks where he'll shoot out one wave of like 1,000 missiles and then a second wave right after it. So you have to kind of do a double dodge, and you're still gonna maybe get clipped by it a lot. It's a lot. It was the one thing, except for maybe the very final boss, but even more so is like the biggest wall I hit in terms of this took me like a good hour, and again at one point I had to just quit the mission, kind of grind, build a new mech, and come back at it.
Okay. Well,
Real quick, just to back up something Mike said, this is the best reviewed Armored Core by a solid 10-ish points.
Right.
that is
So,
not
yeah,
even
you're
surprising.
right.
It's just weird, right? Like,
Yep.
look, like the game's going to be inherently slightly niche. Of course, there's going to be some people who just aren't going to like it that much. Like, I understand that about some of the genres I like that are more niche, like beat 'em ups and point-and-click adventure games. I don't get mad when they don't get scores in the 90s, right? I get it.
Plus, it's like it got a bad review from like a French website, and the French hate mechs. We all know this.
Right, because they fear them.
They fear them exactly. Yes. Push
They
Square
know
gave it a
where the
70.
mechs are going first. They know that they're getting it first. They've had it coming for a long time.
Yeah, they're coming for your freedom fries. Look out.
Yeah, but other things. So we've been playing Super Metroid for the Game Club. I also, like I said, I was just playing through it again, and for the first time, I got a completion under 3 hours. So that felt good. Not just because I saw Samus in a bikini, but it's just
But
fun
that
to
also
finally.
felt good, I'm sure.
And then hate it. But yeah, it just felt good to finally do that in Super Metroid. God, yeah, I like Super Metroid. It's going to be interesting when we talk about that sometime next week. Probably going to have to be on Tuesday, even. Sean and I think about what to put that in the
Right,
calendar.
if you guys are going to be fun. Yeah, we can do that. That works.
Yep,
Okay.
going to be on the move. All right, yeah, then I've been playing Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. I think that game is pretty good. A lot of it comes down to all the things that did seem to make Jet Set Radio and Jet Grind Radio make those games very good, which was their style, the look, the music. This game has all that stuff, and then I think it also feels really good when you're playing it and you're pulling off the combos. And there's a big focus on making sure that you have plenty of opportunities to link those combos together. I think the combat was a bit weird. Basically, I was just ramming my character into the bad guy and hoping for the best, and that's what you're supposed to do. That was a bit
bump combat.
Yeah, it was bump combat. It's awkward.
It's like He's 1 and 2 combat. I like it.
Yes, it's awkward though. It's very because I don't even the hit detection or like the sort of response from the game. Like when you ran it, it's like nothing really happens other than the character fell down. But that's not what this game is about, and there hasn't been a ton of that. So I am not really complaining. And a lot the other half of the combat is spray painting cops, and that rules. That's fun to just like grind next to a bunch of cops and spray like 7 of them in a row, and then have them run away with all this yellow paint on them. That's just fun. So I really kind of getting an appreciation for why people might have liked the Jet Set games. But for me, this is just clicking in a lot of ways just because it feels a lot better. So any chance you're going to play this anytime soon as someone who liked Jet Set Radio and Jet Grind Radio?
Yeah, I feel like I really should. So maybe I'll try to sooner rather than later. Because yeah, again, I do like the Jet Grind /Set Radio games a good bit.
Yes. And then Curse Crackers. I can never remember the name. Curse Crackers.
Curse Crackers, I think, is correct.
I put in a little bit more time with that since talking about it on Nintendo.
It's that Game Boy Color looking game.
Yes, and I watched the Steam video where that was just so I could show people what it was like, and then it was like watching gameplay of that and seeing the super nonstop sort of long jump into jumping on enemies and just going as fast as possible through the levels. And then I've started playing it that way, and it's awesome. This we are in a cool time for indie 2D platformers between this and Pizza Tower, where it's like, no, you're just link all your moves together and go as fast as fucking possible, and you're gonna feel awesome. And that was definitely true in Pizza Tower. I think it's even more true here. So just really, really adore this game so far. I'm glad I got a code so I could check it out, and kind of really recommend it. It's on Switch. People should check that out. But then it is, it's all Starfield. We're playing Starfield. It's all Starfield,
Yep.
which again we can't talk about yet, but we'll have something for that when we can. So yeah, a lot of time spent in a bunch of different video games looking for things I can talk about, and then the rest of the time in stuff I can't talk about. And then, like I said, I'm gonna try some Armored Core. But yeah, that does it for me, Mike. Anything else?
No, we got some more super chats though before we can get out of here.
Yeah, let's hit those super chats and then wrap up the show.
Rogers OG says, my partner and I went to our state fair this past weekend and had a great time eating way too much deep fried food. What is your favorite fair food? I usually like getting some kind of fried cheese on a stick situation, Jeff.
I like unfair food. It's just a bad joke. Bad joke. Not even a joke. It's just more.
Not even just not even a
not
joke.
Really a joke, but I'm proud of
I'm not even going to call it wordplay. Stop that. Stop that. Next, Ariel Delgado says, "Where the hell is Golden Sun?" I thought we could. Golden Sun was before 2000, wasn't it? And we said no. Maybe it was this
After
year.
Game Boy Advance 2001.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's after even. Well, I'll tell you what. Don't get your hopes up too much for Golden Sun, anyways.
I like Golden Sun a lot. We'll
you
see.
do? I forgot. Okay,
Yeah.
I forgot you like it. We'll
Yes.
see then. Matt L. Alert says rights for No One Lives Forever are between ABK, Disney, and EA still. Okay, well that's a mess.
That's what it was. That is a mess.
That's
Okay.
a mess. How did that happen?
I thought I remember it. Yeah, I don't know, but I thought I remembered hearing like, oh, someone's trying to figure it out, but maybe that was like, we wish someone would figure that out, and no one has. Okay.
Dr. Ryan says consider best wrestling game for episode 316. Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah, 2 weeks from now, we can maybe do that.
L. Greg says lower a mic game for him lying about Love Boat. I'm gonna get to Love Boat. Well, promise, strong word, but I'm going to really try hard to get to Love Boat soon.
You could just watch one episode of Love Boat, and
I
all these people
know.
wouldn't be able to say anything anymore.
I know, but the problem with Jeff is I forget.
That's,
just
okay,
forget
listen.
so
Hey,
fast.
I understand that plight.
You get that?
Yeah, I
right?
get that.
Dicey says maybe Elden Ring and Armored Core have made a new Kingsfield game possible. That would be amazing.
I would really like that. That would be very fun. We should play some Kingsfield games on Giant Bomb. That could be good.
William Caruana says Certain Affinity is showing a new game at Gamescom behind closed doors called Project Loro. Do you know if them plus Xbox are still working on Suerte? Is Suerte the Halo, the code name for the Halo Battle Royale? I forget what Suerte is.
I don't know, but Project Loro, one of these is probably the Monster Hunter game that they're working on Xbox with. So that might be Suerte. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Certain Affinity is still working on that game with Xbox. Yes.
Was Certain Affinity one who's working on the Halo thing? Was that Certain
Affinity? Yeah.
It is also them. Okay.
Yep.
Ariel Delgado says, I kind of wish the GTA 6 guy was a bit and he would return at the end as a lead into a GTA 6 trailer. Nah, they wouldn't do it like that. Do you think we get any other Rockstar game besides GTA 6 this gen? No.
Yeah.
No.
Do we think we get any other rocks? Yeah, no. No, absolutely not.
No, just I don't know if we'll get another one next gen. We think might still just be releasing Grand Theft Auto 6 at that point. God, I wonder, like, is it just immediately you go do Red Dead Redemption 3? I guess, right? Why not? But man,
probably that'd be kind of
it is.
Well, yeah, whatever.
I know you don't like Red Dead Redemption. But
I'm not even
care.
starting. I'm not even. I know. I'm sorry.
I would care.
Even if I did like it, I think it would be a bummer. And like, I wish they would try something else. Yeah, Bully 2.
Well,
Give me
sure.
Bully 2 first, and then you can do
maybe.
another Red Dead. Yes, there we go.
I like Red Dead a lot more than Grand Theft Auto. But that's it. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. If you want to get one in, you're running out of time.
There's a Reset Era post about that Project Loro. It says it's a first-person shooter.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I think we're going to start wrapping up the show. If we have nothing else, I'm going to hit the button even. Make sure that the music's going to play. It's not. There we go. Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me on gamesbeat.com. You can check out my Armored Core 6 review there. We did a voicemail dump truck today over at Giant Bomb. That was a lot of fun. We also watched all those trailers from Gamescom and Future Game Show, so check those out as well over on Giant Bomb.
This podcast is 2 hours long. It doesn't feel like that. It's surprising.
It's so much fun with you.
Yeah, it's the time just flies with you, Mike. Thank you, everybody, for listening again. Jeff Grubb everywhere. Jeffy Grubb
All
on
right,
threads.
Jeff. Let's do each other here.
Okay. Join the Discord. Discord.gg/game mess. Again, the Patreon, patreon.com/game mess. Yeah, we've had a lot of people, like a little bit of a surge since we did the Columbo thing. So maybe that's just coincidence, or maybe it is the power of Columbo.
The power of Columbo, baby. Let's go.
Again, that episode is not public for everyone yet. So if you want it, you go to the Patreon and get it. And then if you do that, you can also tune in live as we record our early episode of Game Master Jeopardy, and you can watch it a month before anyone else. So feel free to do that. And really, just the support for Patreon is huge. It is definitely the biggest driver of cash now for us, and that makes doing this really worth it. And just helps in general. I got a mortgage to pay, so I appreciate it, everybody. All right.
I don't, but I like the money. Oh, I do have a mortgage, but
Yeah,
yes,
but
I like money.
yeah, it's not a real mortgage. It's one of them.
You have like kids also.
I've got like
just have
I got the
mortgage at this
pandemic
point.
era mortgage, which is a little bit hits a little
Oh,
different.
I got a good deal on my mortgage.
Yes.
Yeah, my rate is fantastic.
Yes, mine's okay compared to where it is today, but still.
Yeah.
And then yes, those kids they eat multiple times. They don't stop eating. It's
They just always need food. It's multiple times a day.
yes, yeah, multiple, frequently. It's multiple times a day.
What time is Game S Jeopardy tomorrow?
I think we're doing it at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I think she's good with that. And he got into grilled cheese sandwiches, and
What,
now that's all
Christian?
she wants.
No, I was asking if Sean is here because he knows the time for sure.
It's the
It's
time I
whatever
just
they
said.
just go with the guests. So yeah, I think
Grilled
that
cheese
sounds
sandwiches
right.
are good though.
Yeah, they
butter,
are.
lots of butter, so much
Oh
butter
yeah,
on
butter.
those.
And she eats the gross, so that's definitely lots of butter. Thanks, everybody. Catch you next time.
I don't like this one.
You don't like DMX?
I mean, I don't know anything about.
He doesn't
DMX,
know
but
what
I don't like this
DMX
guy
is.
screaming. What is
Come and you will learn everything about DMX.
DMX gonna give it to you? Is that guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just X gonna give it to you.
It's Donald Duck for real? Zeka barrage.
Got 10
yeah.
gigs worth of women's butts.
Kinetic card.